Evening all, and welcome to the Easter Monday night booze up here on Claren Booze. We missed Sunday because Nick's a slacker and he decided to walk a load of dogs instead of making it a long last night. And then you just had a drink, didn't you?
I got pissed. Yeah, I did. I did need it though. You know what's going on in my house at the moment.
I know what's going on in your house. It's chaos, pure chaos. And we are joined tonight by Andy Miles. How you doing, Andy?
Yeah, not bad, mate. Not bad. I'm enjoying the long weekend. And like you said, we've got a couple of four. I like the 4-day week, so it makes it even more.
I love a 4-day week.
It's nice. It's gone in the fucking blink of an eye, though. It's gone.
It has. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But we've got 3 4-day weeks in May though. Can't complain about that.
Yeah, this is true.
I know. We get a day off when Charles is having his new hat fitted. We've got a day off for that, haven't
we? And we're at Man United the day before. What more can you ask for?
I know.
Man United.
God, so look, we've got a lot to get through tonight. No doubt you would have been enthralled by the.
So
game.
I'm doing comments tonight, aren't I? I'm on comments.
You're doing comments tonight. You are on comments.
Right, I apologise in advance, everyone.
Yeah. In the absence of John, in the absence of Virgil, who is sunning himself in Spain at the moment. We're going to talk about the game yesterday. The key, I mean, really, there ain't much to talk about as far as the game goes, but there are sort of 3 or 4 incidents that we talk about. And then all the stuff that comes from the game. So the fans, who I thought were fantastic yesterday, I was one of them. You were one of them, Andy, as well, weren't you? So, we were brilliant for 90 minutes, especially the last 25 minutes. Absolutely superb.
So when I watched the game, it was a really good stream that I had, and it was the best away. It was like it was a home game.
Yeah,
that's what it sounded like a really good home atmosphere. He was that fucking loud. And how many fans were there in that stadium?
Must have been about 4,000 or 5,000, wasn't it?
Yeah, because the mutual stand,
quite a few. Then
the mutual stand as well.
Loud, so loud.
Mm. And the Fulham fans are exceptionally quiet. I mean, we had the posh seats right in front of us, and there was like a couple of families of 4. One of them all wearing matching baseball caps and eating popcorn, and the son had a Barcelona top on and stuff like that. Clearly on a day out, I think they thought they'd stumbled into the cinema or something because they didn't react to the game. You know, so look, we'll talk about that. The fans and the fans. There was a couple of little hostile moments with Moyes. Moyes walked off and completely ignored us. Not that I wanted his attention, but it was a bit rude of him, I thought, because not everyone in that crowd was disliked Moyes, right? And that led to, I think, a lot of trolling on Twitter over the last couple of days. I think all 3 of us have been insulted quite well, haven't we? So
I got called a fat Ming earlier by some pre-pubescent little prick.
What did you get called, Andy?
I got called a fat C, but I'm not going to get.
Right. Yeah, no C bombs. And I got. I think someone insulted my hairline. They said, "Worry about your hairline, not David Moyes." And I thought, I'm a bit grey, but my hairline's all right, isn't it? I mean, looks all right. Yeah. So yeah. So that fell on deaf ears. The players came out in support of Moyes. Of course, you would expect that. They want to win, the same as we all want to win. As much as some people think we don't, we do. And we'll talk about a couple of other things as well. Will we survive now? I think it's looking quite good for us, but let's discuss that. And following that, will Moyes survive? Right, yes, so that's indeed the agenda, and then we're going to do. So you can do a phone in later, right, Nick?
I'm going to do a phone in. Yeah, I'm going to upload a video that Dodsey sent us as well. So from the final whistle, but I'll play that once it's uploaded because as always, I'm ill prepared.
Yeah, and have you prepared the player ratings with the right players, or you can use last season's player ratings for this, right?
Well,
Pick any game last season.
Yeah, you can go back in time. I'll just pull up. It's
but who's Danny
ridiculous. Ings? Well, I haven't got Danny Ings yet anyway. I've been using Vlasic for Danny Ings.
Yeah, he's just as effective, isn't he?
Well, David Moyes has got to be the first Premier League manager in history to play a 4-4-2, but in defence.
It was more. What I saw, it was more of a 9-1 than a 4-4-2.
It was a 4-4-2, but in our half of the pitch. It was really good. It worked really well. He's well good.
Brilliant. So look, the game. I mean, 4-4-2 was what it appeared. That's what every Sky and everybody told us it was. In theory, there was 2 players playing up front in Antonio and Danny Ings. We reverted to a back 4, a traditional back 4, which I was pleased to see, to be honest. As Sue fell back, he had to come back. Ogbonna in for Agüed. That had to happen. I don't know why he's been so tentative at using Ogbonna, to be honest. And then, surprisingly, he brought Cresswell in. at left back. But it turned out to be a good decision because the back four and Fabianski covered themselves in glory yesterday. I thought they were magnificent, all of them. Right, and then in midfield we have Rice and
Fabianski especially.
Yeah, Rice and the ever worsening Thomas Souček, and then we had Benny on one side and Fornals on the other.
Yeah,
Bowen on one side and Fornals on the other. Right, so it was a 4-4-2, but as it turned out, it was. I mean, all of our forward play seemed to be coming through Bowen, and Soufal was getting forward. I mean, but it didn't take too long for us to go in front. And what did you think of that goal, Andy?
Well, obviously we were at the other end, so I didn't know who it was. The way we were celebrating, it was like we scored it. But to be honest, it was a good ball. It was a good ball out from Declan Rice out to Soufal.
Yeah.
Questionable handball. What I saw after, but it's sort of been a bit quieter. But it's just that advanced stage of having Soufal. He can't cross the ball, but just getting in, and that was a decent ball across. But no. Against the run of play, but like you said, you've just got to take chances when they come your way. And I've got to say, it was a good finish from Reed.
It was quality finish, and I think that had he not finished it, Ings was standing behind him, probably would have screwed it wide or something. But hopefully, he would have tapped it away. On the handball, by the way, unanimous on Match of the Day last night. It was a handball and it should have been disallowed. Together with Silva and everybody else, disallowed handball all day long. Dermot Gallagher, the referee, the leader of the referees, came out today and said, no, it was the right decision. It was the right decision because it didn't directly lead to a goal. He passed it to Bowen, and that led to a goal. So
I don't think it was a handball. We couldn't do anything about that.
It's got to be deliberate. Even if it leads to a goal, even if it's not deliberate, if it leads to a goal, it's disallowed. But in this case, it wasn't deliberate. It didn't lead to a goal, so it was allowed. So that was the thinking. So good decision. Good decision.
It was.
And yeah, I think that was. I mean, I don't know about you. I can't remember much else from the first half, other than us sitting back and Fulham having a lot of the ball, tapping it. We were tapping it from side to side. They were trying to get down the wings and cross it in. And every time they crossed it in, one of our centre halves just nodded it away. It was just a walk in the park, wasn't it? It was easy.
I'll tell you what, Gary. I don't know if I know obviously defenders are meant to head the ball, but Bonner makes it look so easy compared to others.
Oh, he does.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, there is an art to it. It's positioning, reading the flight of the ball, and I don't think Aguirre has that. I don't think that's his game. I mean, Zuma's good in the air.
Yeah. Very good.
You know,
but it just seemed wherever he cleared it, it had distance on it. It wasn't like a lofted up in the air. Like I think that's what I was trying to. But I couldn't complain from that front.
No, it did. And those two, if you remember back from before all of the injuries, the Ogbonna knee injury and the Zuma multiple injuries, those two were playing really well together. They were solid, weren't they? So that sort of bodes well. And I mean, so that was it for the first half. And I think as far as let's cover Moyes abuse in the first half.
Can I say, dare I say, just for a minute, can we really crow about how amazing we were defensively when you play a back four and another fucking roadblock in front of them against a team that are toothless with no striker?
Well, no, in my opinion, you can't, because Fulham wouldn't have scored if they were there all night. I mean, they showed that with what they did with Fabianski.
We were solid.
Souček is still playing.
Yeah. I mean, the game plan, it played out exactly to the game plan, right? It was a 9-1 formation. It was two banks of four, and the two front men helping to defend as well. I mean, that's really what it was. And occasionally we'd burst out and Bowen would get forward, but that'd be about the extent of it. And then, I mean, everything good came through Bowen yesterday from an attacking sense. And in the second half, there was a beautiful ball. If you watch the replay, it was actually a fantastic instinctive ball that he played into Danny Ings, and Danny Ings really had to lift that over the keeper and score, didn't he?
Well, he did try to. If you watch it back, I mean, Leno was out fast. He was out quick. He closed him down. I mean, I don't know how easy it would have been to score that, to be quite honest, because there wasn't much of the goal to aim at by the time Leno got there. And Ings did try to loft it over him. So, should he have finished it? Probably, but I don't think it was it weren't anywhere near as bad as the one we're going to talk about later, put it that way.
No. And meanwhile, the crowd just singing "We are West Ham's Claret Blue Army," not David Moyes' Claret Blue Army, as was reported on Twitter. We are West Ham's Claret Blue Army, all the way through the second half. Really getting it, and then we weren't really paying much attention to the game. And like I said, I was looking at the people eating popcorn and stuff like that, thinking what are they doing at football. And then suddenly, Fulham, to my surprise, nearly scored down the other end, and that was very close, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
When you watch the replay, that was actually a fantastic save from Fabianski.
It was. I can't think of the guy's name that burst through now, but it was probably a bit of a poor first touch
Polina,
from him.
wasn't it? Was it Polina?
Yeah, he allowed the ball to get away from him a little bit. He got too close to Fabianski, and Fabianski at full stretch. If he gets that wrong, it's a penalty for a start, isn't it?
Well, he done something very intelligent there. He actually he actually pushed it onto the bloke's foot.
Yeah, no, it was brilliant. It was brilliant.
Yeah.
Saved Moyes' job again, second time this season.
And I mean, keep up with us, right? But we've covered 3/4 of the game already. Now for the final thing that happened in the game, and that was Cornet chasing down a defender, sticking his foot in, and getting through 1-on-1 with the keeper, with Benrahma free with an open goal to his left, hit it into the keeper, and the most tame of finishes.
He just hit the keeper. Yeah. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. You will say now he should have squared it. Of course he should square it, but I would have shot. But because it kind of worked that chance himself, and he should have scored. There was enough of the goal to aim at. It was worthwhile. Do you know what I mean? He should have. What's this? Is Moyes? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to leave that up there.
On another day, Leno parries it out to Benrahma. That's another way you could look at it. But no, I don't know. But I was celebrating when he was clean through. I thought we scored. I was celebrating.
He should have scored. He should have scored. It was loads of the goal to aim at.
Yeah, typical no credit at all. No, I don't think that's true, Nigel. We're giving credit for the game played out exactly the way Moyes planned it. It was a ball fest, and we scored with an own goal, and we won, and it was a great defensive performance. Right, that was it.
What did you make of the subs? Are you going to do that in the ratings, or do you want to talk about?
Yeah, no. You can talk about it now. It's fine.
I thought Pablo had a really good game. I was very shocked when he come off. I was expecting. I was expecting him to start. Yeah, that's who I was expecting. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. But I thought Pablo had a really good game, and I think that's the energy what we've been missing, and it just seems to be him or Benny. I don't know why we can't play both of them.
He's always better. He's always better in the middle for now. I think he's a bit wasted out wide on the left. But look, he's got to do that. He's got to shoehorn him out there because he's got to keep his little mate Souček in there, isn't he? Who if Declan Rice hadn't have had such a fucking phenomenal game in that first half, he was superhuman in that first half. He was covering the fullbacks that were bombing up the pitch on occasion when they did go. And he was preventing their counter attacks. He was left, he was right, he was covering everything. I can't remember anything that Souček done apart from win a couple of headers.
11 passes yesterday in 90 minutes, so not cool. much. Yeah. I think Fornals, the position he plays when he's in front of Cresswell, it helps out Cresswell. I think that they were very, very solid down that side. I mean, Fulham really got no joy. That's what spawned. You don't know what you're doing when he didn't take Souček off. And he took Fornals.
That's what it is.
Because, and I agree with that. And I joined in as well. I must admit, I joined in because he didn't know what he was doing. But that's just me. I'm a troublemaker. There was a lovely big. I saw on the West Ham Fan TV. One of the guys that was interviewed, he had a lovely big Moyes out banner as well. I didn't see that while I was there. But,
that was nice. It was nice to see.
Yeah, good to see one of them pop up.
That was on display in one of the West Ham Fan TV videos as well, wasn't it? When it Marshes?
Yeah. That's what I said. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, there was a picture because the picture where I saw it before it got uploaded was the Moose taking a picture of David Moyes walking across the pitch, and it's in the background. It was in the lower tier, so that's where I saw it first. It's mad.
I mean, look, Moyes himself, I call him Moyes, he don't like it, but he will. He walks across the pitch.
Mr. Moyes. No.
He walked across the pitch and give it all that up to obviously the executive box. I don't know if they were sitting in the cottage just above the tunnel. There must have been.
Fucking arse kisser, isn't he?
But big grin on his face. But you expect him to be happy because he saved his job again. That's fine. He set out a plan and the plan worked. Didn't make for very good watching, and let's not lose sight of the fact that he got us in this big fucking hole. He's the bloke that started the fire, and now we're congratulating him for trying to put it out. Brilliant.
Before we move on, I'm just going to pair my phone. James G has sent in a question, and it's on topic, so we may as well play it now.
Go on.
Hang on. That's connected. Right. Can you hear that?
No.
Oh, is it fucking around again?
Anyway, you get that working.
3 points.
Oh, there you
is
go.
Really
there you go.
all that matters.
There you
Right,
go.
lads. Hope all's well. Question tonight. After that result of the weekend, obviously this stage of the season, 3 points is really all that matters. It's gone too far now to be worrying about performances because it's just the points we need.
Yeah.
Just thinking about that, I think we've still got Arsenal, Liverpool, City, and United left to play. If he's prepared to set up like that away to Fulham, what's he going to do against them for? Do you think it's likely we're going to see him go back to the back five and stick Agerd, Ogbonna and Zuma in there together with a couple of wing backs, Rice and Souček in front of him? Or do you think he's going to sort of try and play that for the rest of the season, sort of a 4-4-1-1 or 4-4-2? I was just wondering how you think he's going to set up next week against Arsenal if he's gone away to Fulham, who have no striker, and set up like that. Cheers, lads.
I don't know. What do you think, Andy?
See, I don't think the back five suits Soufal. I don't think it does. It really does expose him. I know he had a mare on Wednesday, but if we were going to play the back five, I'd play Kehrer. I'd play Kehrer at the right wing back if we are going to play that way. But for me, I think we've got Liverpool proved it yesterday. I think we've got to have a go at them. If we're going to lose, you might as well have a go at them. And I'd play the back four, but I'll play Emerson instead of Creswell's. He'll have more chance against Saka.
After Newcastle, Moyes is going to be incredibly protective over his goal difference now. I don't think there is now, personally, a chance in hell we're going to do anything other than damage limitation in those games.
Yeah, but what do you think? Switch to a back three or what?
I don't think I don't think it matters what formation he plays when the instruction is every fucker camp deep.
Yeah, it makes little. There's two things.
Difference.
There's two things. There's a formation and there's a strategy.
Yeah.
Right, and really one blends into the other. When you're looking at that as a 4-4-2 yesterday, which it really wasn't for most of the game. No. Bear in mind, we were on the back foot for almost 80% of the game. That means we were playing in our defensive formation for 80% of the game, which is not a 4-4-2. The 4-4-2 is the attacking formation, right? And it was very rarely that. For 23% of the game, it was that. Now, if we try and sit and give the ball to any of those good teams, they will destroy us.
Look, put it this way, right? That performance, what we did there was exactly what we tried to do against Brighton. Look what happened.
Yeah.
That's what we tried to do. We got ripped to shreds because Brighton, any team that have got craft, that have got cutting edge, will sieve through us. Now, we've got, fair enough, they did well against a toothless defence. They played one shit striker, Vinicius, up against Zuma and Ogbonna. They was arrowing crosses into the box. They was never ever going to find their way to him in a million years. It weren't going to happen. It's going to be very different. For instance, if Mitrovic had been playing, they'd have had more of a battle on their hands. Yeah. But when we go up against a team that have got cutting edge, that have got people that can pick a pass through the lines, and heaven forbid he does stick with that backline, which probably a lot of people might be calling for now because it was such a defensively resolute performance. That's the slowest fucking backline in the world.
Well, I would save the players. I would save the players, Nick, right? And what I would do, I called this for before the Newcastle game.
There's a reason we invested in all these players. There's a reason we invested and we brought all these new players in because this lot had it towards the end of last season.
There is, but a back five, I called it before Newcastle, right? And it didn't happen. He played a back four and we got destroyed. So I'm hoping that he will rotate a little bit and play a back five and put some different players in there against Arsenal and save some of the legs for the following games, right?
Yeah.
Because Ogbonna's not going to be able to play loads of games one after the other. I mean, he's been used in Europe up until now, and I assume he won't be playing in Europe this week now. We've got a much more important game than Arsenal after that, and that's Bournemouth. And Bournemouth away is not the same as Fulham away. We ain't going to get away with going to Bournemouth and parking in our own box and letting him have the ball for 77% of the time or something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Arsenal is...
Crafty's grandson reckons I look like Daddy Pig. Fucking hell. I can't even have a go at him because he's his grandson. He's only young. I'll take it. I'll be Daddy Pig. It's fine.
My favourite episode of Peppa Pig was when Daddy Pig said that he knew everything about barbecues. And I think that's you, innit? That's you.
I do.
So yeah, it fits. If the cap fits, wear it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so yeah, I think for Arsenal it should be different. I think we will get destroyed by Arsenal if we play that formation, because I got flashbacks to when we went to see Arsenal at the Emirates and Soufal trying to cope with that Brazilian out on the wing, and he got torn to pieces, right? And that's our good fullback. You know, when you're focusing on the other side, I mean, yeah, God knows what Saka will do with Cresswell and or Emerson.
Yeah.
You know, there's too much quality, too much attacking quality in Arsenal. Man City are frightening at the moment. Liverpool are the only ones we might have a chance of getting something out of. But, you know, Man United look good. Man City look fucking excellent. And Arsenal still look very, very good. So if we try and sit back and give the ball to those teams, they will tear us to pieces.
We are going to do it. Look, we all saw against Newcastle. We came out 3-4 minutes. We looked all right, and that was David Moyes trying to set up to get at the opposition with a press. If you watch that back, because that is what Newcastle do. They press high. That's what teams that play with the ball, when they're out of position, they hunt it down again. They press, but they press well. They've got triggers. They're very structured in the way that they do it. We were ridiculous. If you watch that game back, it was the most pathetic attempt at pressing I've ever seen. The only way that David Moyes can defend, and this is what baffles me when people call it a masterclass. It ain't a fucking masterclass. He plays them like they're chess pieces on a board. They don't move. All they've got to do is hold their zone. Don't move. That's why we can't pass the ball, because there is no passing and fucking moving. It's pass and sit. Because if you move, you're out of position. So that's the reason why we can't hold on to the ball. That's the reason why we only had one successful pass per minute out of that 96-minute game.
My favourite episode of Peppa Pig is where Daddy Pig got sacked from his job due to incompetence. Brilliant.
But talking on them zones, that's what it reminds you of. Do you know them for being remote do-it-yourself hoovers when they go back to their zone after they've finished cleaning up?
Honestly, it's what they do. It's literally what they do. Every single player, if you watch him, when he plays in that fashion, they don't move. They stick to their area, because it's all about being hard to play through. Make it hard to play through. Yeah. And what will have given Moyes nightmares was, because we were pressing poorly in midfield, because we lacked direction. The likes of Paqueta and Souček were anonymous. The gaps in midfield that they were just passing the ball through all night long. The gaps were there all night against Newcastle. He will not do that again for the rest of the season. He won't. No. Which means it will be counter-attack.
So tell me when you've got the player ratings left, because we've finished talking about the game now. There's not much else to talk about other than...
I ain't even set it up yet.
Set it up. So, so look, we finished...
talk about the Moyes thing. What your opinion? Obviously, I know the walking off the thing. So obviously, I got a lot of stick, and obviously
you was bang out of order, really, Andy. I've got to be honest. Yeah.
So what people have got to bear in mind is, like what we said, it's instant match reaction. So you're walking outside the game, and that was the last thing I saw as I walked out of Craven Cottage, was Moyes just being stubborn and not even looking at the fans.
Yeah.
What I get, I wouldn't have been as angry as if he just went like that. Like, come over and wave and say, do the okey cokey and all that. But if he just went like that, thanks to the fans, and walked off, but he was just stubborn. He was just looking like, look at me, look what I've done. And that's what wound me up more than anything else. And like, everyone goes, well, he was getting abuse. Well, you can't slag the fans off on Wednesday. I know that's what people are saying. He got abused.
Yeah, but Andy, what you were there? What abuse did he get? Seriously, I mean, he got a few boos at the beginning. He got you don't know what you're doing when he made the substitution, and that was it, wasn't it? I mean, a banner.
Exactly.
So if you can't take that little bit of constructive criticism from the crowd, I don't know what it is. I mean,
because he slagged us off on Wednesday. For leaving early. Well, sort of leaving early and not, and then correcting himself. And once, like we stayed till the end. Every single West Ham fan stayed till the end.
That was the way he did that the other day, because I spoke about that with John on that little post match interview. There's always a bit of poison with him, you know. He sort of said, he was asked about the crowd, and he said, I might have left early if I was in the crowd. So it's like the crowd were brilliant tonight, and he said, but this is what separates. This is what separates the true supporter from it. It's true supporter. Dave, have you ever been a true supporter of a football club? Do you know what it is to be a true football supporter? You're a manager. You've been a manager or a player. What the fuck do you know, mate? Anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, I just wanted to get my point across because obviously I couldn't reply to all my comments. What I got.
Yeah.
No. But look, this is it. And like I say, I was been outspoken again on Twitter. Like I said, I wasn't going to be today. And it's just, I should have stayed away from it. I should have stayed away from it this weekend. But these fuckers, they crawl out from under their rocks like Spurs fans do when there's a victory. That's what they do.
Yeah.
They come out, they come from nowhere. They'll be all over the comments of this video as well. They come out from everywhere and they act, and they're all sanctimonious. Look at what he's done. Look at what he's done. Do you know what? Look at what he's done. Take that. I'm sick of hearing about it. I'm sick of hearing David Moyes talking about it, let alone our own fucking fans now. Yeah. It's too much. It is, and he is right, and James is right. What he said on that voice note just now, the result is all that matters. It is all that matters, but it still boils my piss to watch that because we was playing against a Fulham team that didn't have a striker, that had lost their previous 3 games. On what planet can we set up like that? We set up like we were minnows playing Man City in the FA fucking Cup. That's how we set up in that game. We did.
Yeah, same as Southampton. We did exactly the same as Southampton. It was just negative, negative, negative. The formation didn't matter because the approach was the same.
Yeah.
And look, I watched Match of the Day, listened to the comments afterwards, and Danny Murphy announced it was a no-brainer to keep Moyes. Alan Shearer said it was fantastic, and Gary Lineker said
on the media.
I don't know. And Gary Lineker said, "Oh, see what happens when you hang on to your manager. Show a bit of faith." He's like, "Oh, fuck off, mate." So
did I read that he's got he's part of a very very good agency.
Yes,
David Moyes,
yeah,
that is connected.
Agency. Yeah,
is connected to a lot of to
all of those people. Yeah.
All of those people, all of them.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's why he gets a really fair time in the press. That's why when someone comes on and asks him a difficult question from the media, he looks like someone stole his sweets. He looks like offended, like when that bloke called him Moisey that time. He's used to being addressed in a certain way, asked very polite questions. Nothing to test him. Just stuff that he can roll over with the usual political responses. Anyway, look, I was doing earlier. I went through and done one of those predictors to see where I think we would finish, and I think it's fair to say, I think we'll stay up now. I think we'll stay up, but I don't think it'll be as clear as you think it will be. It is dependent upon Leicester maintaining their shit form. Right?
It can change.
See, I think they're going to stay up. I really do.
I do. Well, that's how I feel about it.
I think Everton's going to drop in. Everton and Leeds are going to drop in.
Well, I don't know. I went through all of the predictions up to, for the rest of the season. And I had West Ham finishing on 35 points and I had Leicester going down with 31 points. Right. And the way I got that was because Leicester have got quite a run of games. They've got a decent looking run in, but some of the teams they're playing against are in form, and Leicester are not in form. They're terrible at the moment. Palace, we've got four winnable games as far as I can see, which is Bournemouth, Palace, Leeds, and Leicester. And those final 2 games are the final 2 games of the season. So we definitely don't want it to go to those 2 games, right? So it all goes down to Bournemouth and Palace. We've got to get something out of those 2 games. And when I did my prediction, I predicted that we would get a point each at Bournemouth and Palace. I can't see us beating Palace at their place. I can't see us beating Bournemouth at their place at the moment. I bloody hope we do, but I just can't see it. The one that I think is the home banker is home versus Leeds.
But what you got to bear in mind is, Gary, it's a home banker, but those 2 games at the end of the season are relegation dogfights. If both teams need those points, you can't call them.
Oh no, I agree with you. But his record on winning the games that you have to win. So I'm going to say that's a win. But we're talking about we talk about Bournemouth and Palace. You ain't talking about Southampton, Fulham, Forest or Everton when they were shit. You ain't talking about the teams that we've beaten who were absolutely awful, all of them, right? And we've only beat, I think, all of them 1-0, wasn't it? We're talking about 2 teams who can score goals. Palace, they're rampant at the moment. They have been. They've scored 7 in 2 games. They're flying.
I did say this when Roy was brought in. Yeah. A lot of people were turning around and saying, "No, that's a terrible appointment. That's ridiculous." I'm like, "No, it's a temporary appointment." Yeah. And I've said to you before, look, this isn't Roy Hodgson football. When you bring in a temporary manager, they're not going to come in and embed their philosophy. They don't have time. All they've got to do is come in, put their arm around the players, G them up, give them a morale boost, send them out firing. That's what Roy Hodgson has done, and that is why that's kind of that's all we needed this year. So let's hope that we can shit our way to enough points, because that's what we're going to have to do. Let's hope that we can shit our way to enough points to stay up, because that's the only way we are going to survive. We're not going to survive playing football. We're not.
Well, I think if we can shit house a win at Bournemouth, I think that's it. We're safe.
Yeah.
Right. I think we need one more win basically, and then we pick up a couple of points here and there. But when you look at the remaining home games, I mean, I don't see us getting anything against. We choke against the big sides, right? So Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City, Man U. I mean, maybe Liverpool, but even they look pretty good yesterday.
Yeah, they do. Right, Gary, let's get onto these player ratings. I've set out the Moyes 4-4-2 how I saw it actually play out. I couldn't pull them any deeper because there wouldn't be any room for the scores, but that's basically how it was. Fabianski, we'll go with Andy first. What did you think of Fabs, Andy?
I thought that, like you said, that was a defining save. What he done, he commanded his box okay, but I'm probably going to give him a 7. I was going to give him a 6, but because of that defining save, for me.
Yeah.
So you're going to give him a 7, yeah?
Yeah.
Good man. Right, now the scores might work a little bit differently on we don't follow conventional scoring. So as you can see on the matrix, 6 is an average game, 7's above average, 8 is very good, 9 is excellent, 10 is perfect.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So that's fine.
Still
so
still with a 7.
That is fine, mate. That's fine. Right. What are people saying in the chat, Gary? You're going to have to drive the comments on them.
Yeah, we're seeing 6s and 7s for Fab. There's a couple of 8s as well.
All right.
But it's mainly 6s and 7s.
Okay. Right. So, Gary, Cresswell,
I thought both of our fullbacks were excellent yesterday. I thought Soufal was a pick, but I thought Cresswell was really, really good, put in a good performance. I'd give him a 7.
A 7, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. It's going to be a very quick player rating, isn't it? Hang on.
Yeah.
Hang on. Soufal, again, I think he was solid. I don't think he did anything wrong. I don't think he was tested. Not really.
He got a pre-assist.
He got a pre-assist, but I don't know. I probably again a 7. I mean, I can't go mad giving everyone crazy scores. But even though the defence were the best ones on the pitch, apart from Rice, I'm going to go a bit mental.
Well, I think that was like I said earlier. I think the defence were the highlight. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, Declan Rice was unbelievable in central midfield.
He was, yeah.
Considering he was carrying a central until Downs came on, he was carrying that central midfield on his own.
Yeah,
and he really was. Andy, Kurt Zuma.
I think it's probably going to be 7s all right. 7, I think. Like you said, he won a few headers. He just worries me sometimes. He jumps up for an header and then he seems to do a long skip and don't sprint straight after he wins a header. But I can't fault him. Like you said, they understand him what he's got with Oggy. So yeah, 7, didn't do nothing wrong, and yeah, solid.
No, that's fine. Personally, my take, I'll give that to Gary, but Oggy was the better of the two in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think just coming back into the team like that at the blue and putting in that kind of performance, I'll give him an 8.
Give him an 8, yeah?
Yeah.
High scores. Good stuff. Right. I'll go with... I'm going to have a little look to see what people talk about. I'm going to go straight to Thomas Souček. I'll take Thomas.
Good.
So, look, for me, I'm not going to be too... I can't say anything more than what I've already said about Thomas Souček. When, on our WhatsApp group that we've got, when I saw on the graphic that we'd gone 4-4-2 with a midfield 2 of Rice and Souček, I thought, oh my fucking God, really? Because if you're going to play 2 in the middle of the park, you've got to pick the right players. Souček isn't dynamic enough. Luckily, Rice was, he was playing superhuman, but he just didn't do anything again. He doesn't offer anything. He offers nothing. I mean, I would feel rotten giving him a donkey because we won. But
yeah.
What did he do? What did Souček do? How did he positively affect that game?
He was another defender, basically. That's what he was. He was a blocker yesterday. I don't know. I haven't seen his stats other than the passing stats. He passed the ball 11 times, but that ain't really what he was on the pitch for yesterday.
No,
he was on the pitch to break up play.
No, I'm gonna be nice. I know there's a lot of people calling for a donkey. I'm not going to give him a donkey this one.
No, I don't think he deserved a donkey. He done a few good things.
I think he did deserve a donkey because of that. I think he did fuck all. But
yeah, look, I think he was involved he was involved, which in terms of breaking up play and clearing the ball, I saw that at least a few times in the first half. To be honest, he was so far down the other end. Second half, I couldn't really monitor him, so I don't know what he did second half.
Right, Andy, Pablo Fornals, you want to talk about Pabs?
Yeah, I love him. I think I've missed his energy. I saw a few comments saying that he gave the ball away quite a bit, but I like him for what he does off the ball as well. And he seems to have that, like you said, we wasn't pressing as one, but when he had the opportunity done, and like what Gary said, he helps Creswell out a lot. So I'm actually going to give him a 7, but you can disagree if you want to give him a 6.
No, your choice.
He should not have been the one that came off.
Yeah.
No.
He shouldn't have been.
I think he played well, like you said. I think he played well. He did not deserve to get substituted. Souček deserved to get substituted.
He did. Right. Bowen, obviously, he basically scored the goal, didn't he? Got the assist.
Well, he didn't only get the assist; he also had a beautiful assist for Danny Ings as well. Everything that went well from an attacking perspective, which wasn't very much to be fair, involved him. So all I say is he's back to his best, being full of energy, full of running, full of trickery. I'd give him an 8.
You're gonna give him an 8? Okay,
yeah,
that's fine. I'm gonna go Declan Rice. I'm gonna give him a 9. Like I say, he was carrying that midfield single-handedly, and some of the stuff that he did, I think I noticed a comment that I think it was Eastside put in the chat way back about the tackle he did on Willian. They're just one of many things that he did. You know, he makes those. They don't even look last ditch to Declan Rice, because he always manages to come out with a ball. Yeah. He comes out with a ball, and he's got this ability to win the ball and be on the front foot.
Yeah, he done the same to Callum Wilson the other night. He showed them how to tackle Callum Wilson. He literally tackled Callum Wilson.
The only thing what worries me
got up with the ball.
The thing what worries me is one day VAR he's going to get sent off for doing it. That's what worries me. It was clearly. Do you see what I mean? I just think he might get sent off this season just to throw us under the bus. It'll be a good tackle, but when his foot gets stuck in, I love the way he tackles. You don't see much around it, but that's the only thing what worries me.
I just like it's the intelligence. It's because he's so athletic. He eats the fucking ground up.
Yeah,
he does. Yeah. He's already moving into the space before he knows where someone's going to pass the ball. So before somebody's picked a pass, he's already making his way there. He knows what they're going to do. He anticipates so well. And I think there was I can't think, it might have been Franco Baresi, or it might be I can't. It was from an Italian international centre back who said that if you're flying into tackles, if you're on your ass on the ground, then you've already done something wrong, because you should be anticipating, you should be reading the game better than that. And that is Declan Rice. He reads the game beautifully. He does. He's an amazing player. Right, Vlasic / Danny Ings, it don't really matter. They're both as effective. I'm yet to feel guilty about not having a Danny Ings graphic on here at the moment. So, Gary, what did you think about Danny Ings?
I mean, he was completely ineffective to my mind. So slow.
Yeah.
I wouldn't give him a donkey. I just think he's been played again in a position that don't suit him. He can't help it that he's slow. He's just slow, right?
Yeah.
So he always tries, but it just doesn't come off. I'd give him a 5 personally.
He was. I
can't give him a donkey. No,
but like Souček, he was shit. He was about as effective as Souček, wasn't he?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Andy, Mickey.
I think this one's probably going to be harsh on him as well, but I'm going to give him a 5.
He was rubbish.
He was shit. It was shit.
Yeah. It's not their fault though. Do you know what I mean? It's same as Souček. It's not their fault. They're being asked to play deep, and no disrespect to Mickey, when he's got time on his hand, he struggles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
he does, and that was a terrible. If that was a front two, I mean, that wasn't a front two, was it?
Yeah, you were breaking up a little bit there. We got the gist. We got the gist of it, though, mate.
But it wasn't a front two, was it? They look like they never met each other before, or they hate each other because because they're so far apart.
Yeah, but look, at the same time, they look that way. But Gary, we weren't set up to play with the ball and really give them chances. I mean, they're not.
Fair enough.
I don't. Just got plugged.
No worries. Is our IT man Andy? He needs a bit of IT support. Look. Yeah. But no, I thought Danny Ings and Antonio were equally shit. But But if we were so deep, we didn't know how to play the ball. I mean, like I say, Fulham's build-up play was magnificent until they got really into the final third. So playing out from the back, the ball, the work in the midfield, really, really good, knocking the ball out really well, getting the ball forward. But then the minute they got to our 10-man or fucking 9-man roadblock, they had no real ideas about how to get through it. They didn't. So yeah, they were both shit, really. I mean, I think like you said, Bowen really was the one that gave us our cutting edge.
Yeah, he was the only one, and then Cornet did that lovely block when he came on. That found his way through. But yeah, that was it. That was it. I must admit, it's nice to see someone with a bit of pace on the pitch in Cornet.
Cornet,
yeah,
Cornetto.
Right,
let's mark the subs anyway. So I'll go with Downs. I thought Downs looked fucking brilliant when he came on.
Always does.
No, but I mean, he actually looked really good this time. He was making really good forward passes. He released he released Benny once. He was winning. He was a lot of energy. Really, really good. I think he complemented Declan Rice as opposed to hindered Declan Rice. We looked more complete in there. I mean, we didn't notice so much that we just had a fucking dead body floating about in Thomas Souček once Downs came on. I think with if we'd have kept Fornals on and had Flynn Downs, I think with that energy that we would have had and that kind of, because they can all pass. Downs is a good passer, fair enough. He's not an incisive passer, but he holds the ball. He holds the ball really well. If we'd have kept Pablo Fornals on the pitch as well, we might have been able to do something. I don't know, but I think for me, I'm going to go. I'm going to get for the half an hour that he was on. I'm going to give him a 7. If he'd have played longer, I'd have given him a higher score.
I think that's a fair score.
Yeah, I'm going to give him a 7. But he was brilliant, and like I say, it's so frustrating, Gary, because when you look at that, when you look at Downs and you look at Fornals and you look at, we've got Lanzini on the bench as well.
I know.
How the fuck is Souček getting in that team?
I just can't explain it. But we all knew that Souček would be in the starting 11, didn't we? We all knew it.
Yeah.
Doesn't take rocket science to work it out, does it? I mean,
I know. But Gary, do you want to do Benny?
Yeah. Benny, he looked all right when he came on. He did pretty well. He buzzed around quite effectively. I'd give him he should have had an open goal right at the end as well. He was in the right position for it. I'll give him a 6. Can't be unfair, really. And you're missing Cornet, aren't you? You're missing Cornet.
Okay, well we'll have an imaginary Cornet because I can't be bothered to put him on the graphic. So what would you give Maxwell Cornet? I mean, for me, is Andy back?
Yeah, I think so. Andy,
can you hear us?
Oh, he's pixelated and everything.
He's pixelated. No, we'll wait until he reappears properly.
Yeah.
Okay. What would you give Cornet? I mean, me for that miss, that's deserving of a fucking donkey, isn't it?
No, you can't do that. Like you said earlier, right? He's in his heart. He's an attacking player.
Gary, imagine would it have been donkey worthy had they gone down the other end and scored a goal?
Oh yeah. Oh, completely. So yeah. I mean, he didn't even look up, though. He's not the brightest player in the world. He's constantly offside. So I suppose I'm making allowances for him. He didn't know Benrahma was there. He didn't have a clue. He just closed down on the keeper one-on-one. Benrahma drifted up on the outside. He's just looking straight ahead. And he's given the keeper the easiest job in the world to do, isn't he?
Oh, no.
He could have even just gone round the keeper there on his right foot, couldn't he?
So we're giving him
Can't give him a donkey, really. Not for
right.
Short
okay,
period of
well
time.
look, you can have Moyes. The donkey's staying on his head though. I'm not removing that donkey for the rest of the season. It's staying there. So it don't really matter what the.
Well, I think look, he done exactly what was required to win that game.
Yeah.
He reverted to last season's team, this season's formation. Totally negative. He dropped all of the summer signings apart from the few that he had on the bench.
Yeah.
Only Danny Ings from the new players made it onto the pitch. Declan Rice said after the game that there's no division in the dressing room. Well, I bet there ain't, because all those players have been there for the last couple of years. but I bet the new people are feeling a little bit aggrieved at the moment. So yeah, I hate the way we're playing football. I can't stand it. And David Moyes, I think he, the guy who thinks he can define what it is to be a football supporter, get him right on my nose, I'm afraid. Let's be honest, he walked across and ignored us yesterday and got all smug, cheering up to the directors, smiling at his mate, little, David Sullivan. They've got a lovely little in-joke going. Karen Brady, lovely, all smiley and everything else. Don't you fucking love to see it? Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is, he didn't just ignore me, who don't like him, and several others who don't like him. He ignored the likes of Nigel Khan, who do like him.
Does
right?
like him, yeah.
There's lots of people who like him. He ignored all of us. And
there was even a little banner there about saying "Don't sack Moyes." Apparently, I saw that was held up.
Don't sack Moyes.
Yeah, unless that was fucking Sean Whetstone winding me up earlier on. Slag, because he literally posted that on one of my tweets. That's what set me off.
Don't sack Moyes.
Yeah, don't sack Moyes. But no, look. Before you score him, what did that result mean? Is Andy back first of all? Let's see if we can get him in 1 minute. Yeah, I think he is. Andy, you back?
Yeah, to do IT, turn it off and on again.
Hey, there you go. Right. Good man. Right, we're on David Moyes. We gave Downs a 7, Benny a 6, Cornet escaped a donkey, the invisible Cornet, which is basically what he's been anyway. He has been invisible.
It's apt.
Yeah.
Well, he did run quick at the training ground though, didn't he?
He did. Yeah, he did. So we're on David Moyes. The donkey will remain on David Moyes until such time that he is removed from post. That is never coming off his head. Basically, if you get 0 to 4, you get a donkey anyway. But look, this is what I thought that this selection means, right? So obviously, towards the end of last season, we all saw, everyone could see this group of players that all played in that game, bar Danny Ings. They had run their course. This tactic had run its course, right? We were found out. David Moyes, Rob Newman said so. They said this. We then said we've got to transition to a new style of play because that wasn't working anymore. Now, what this represented for me, this represented an admission of failure. So why that little fucking wanker is smiling in that director's box, I don't know. Because what this represents is a wasting of 180 million investment in the summer. He's completely fucking binned them, gone back to basics. They're back to manager that can't do it. They've got a load of players that have not fucking gelled yet. And he reverted back to the same old guard players. And that, for me, this far into the season, is an admission of failure. And that is nothing to be beaming about in a post-match press conference, saying it was a brilliant away performance and looking so fucking pleased with yourself. Because all of the fruits of the labour, Dave, all of the money that we've made from our trips to Europe and everything else, you've spunked that up the wall. You've failed. You haven't managed to. You've completely and utterly. You've reverted us back from where you found us when you came in and magically saved us. No, look, you're having to fucking save us again. Yeah. So I don't see what he's got to smile about. I've got no idea what that man's got to smile about. And if this is going to be the way that, if that's it now, if we're basically going to see the majority of these players now play for the rest of this season, then what does that mean for the ones that have come in? Because if they don't play until the end of the season, their values have fucking depreciated beyond any means. That 180 million has turned into what, 80?
Yeah.
We've easily lost half the value of them.
Easily. Absolutely
fucking spunk the money away. So for me, overall, if it was me, he deserves a donkey anyway. But Gary, it is your score. But I'm scoring him a fucking 3. He got the result, so I'm not going to go any lower. But Gary, go on, it's your score.
No, look, honestly, this is quite personal with me at the moment. I cannot stand the bloke. He riles me. He pushes the wrong buttons. He says the wrong things at the wrong time. He does the wrong things at the wrong time. He doesn't give a toss what we watch. Right, no. It's a pile of old crap. Now, look, like I said to you earlier on WhatsApp when you're saying, "Oh, I'm finding this all depressing and everything else," right?
Yeah, I do.
I don't, because to me this is like episode fucking I don't know what 40 something of my life supporting West Ham, and it's actually been a lot worse than this at certain times, but not much worse than this, right? This is a pretty bad, dismal Premiership season, and there ain't many seasons where we've ended up playing football like this. There's only one that I can liken this to, and it's not even Sam Allardyce. It's Alan Kirbishley.
Yeah.
In that season.
Who's linked with bringing back?
Which was, he played the most diabolical brand of football, So yeah,
The only thing is, though,
easy.
If we win the Conference League, it'll be our most successful year in 41
No,
42
it
years.
won't be, it won't be though, Andy. It won't be though, Andy. We
But-
would have won a cup for the first time in 41 years. It don't mean it's the most successful.
No, but I mean that's
campaign.
the way that people who
that's the way that
people.
it's the way people are going to paint it, but you know what? That is not gonna remove the pain. I mean, like I say, I got a comment on that Twitter post that I put earlier on. I got a comment saying, "Oh, you know, you prey on misery, Gary. How miserable have I been doing this?
Oh God,
no, honestly, I ain't preying on fucking anything. This is depressing me. It's depressing me.
West Ham losing really affects Nick in a completely different way to me because I'm kind of a seasoned campaigner and seen all this shit before, right?
Yeah.
Nick, you know, he's 10 years younger than me. He ain't been around as long, right? So he ain't seen quite as much dross as I've seen, but I've seen a lot of dross, and I've had a season ticket over there for fucking donkey's years, for as long as I can remember, and I've always gone, and I always will keep going for as long as I can afford it, because I like the day out and I like the night out or whatever, and I like meeting up and having a drink and stuff like that. But really, when you talk about that away day on Saturday, it was a really good day. But the football
Sun was out.
It was a lovely day down by the Thames. We had a few beers before the game in a lovely little pub. You know, walked to the game, had a chat amongst friends, watched a game of football, which was crap, and then went for a lovely meal afterwards. And
it's a great place to go
was right
to.
with the world,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a great away day. But the football's just a small, you know, would be brilliant if the football was fantastic as well. You know, wouldn't that be good? But yeah, that's what it is at the moment. The football is a chore.
Oh no. So what we got here? Garino says Moyes is the $6 million man as he struggles to improve players. It costs more than that. Look, that's exactly right. I said it on the video the other day, and to be quite honest, right, it's something I've nicked from a Facebook group who used this description, and it was perfect. And they basically said Moyes can make average players better, but he makes good players worse.
Yeah. Yeah, he does.
He's a second-hand car salesman. That's what he is. Yeah. He hit his ceiling with us. They should have seen that. They should have seen that in the summer before they went out and gave him this huge fucking transfer kitty. At which point, Gary, they could have had their pick of managers. Could you imagine them going out trying to find a new manager with almost 200 million to spend? There'd have been no shortage of takers for that.
And this is like, you know, when David Moyes commented on how Danny Ings can't play up front alone and then played him up front alone in the next game, right?
Yeah.
So he sees things that we all see. He knows it's happening, right? And I think the people who are still supporting Moyes through blind faith because he's the manager and stuff like that, I think they see exactly what we see. Yeah, exactly what we see. And they're being a little bit disingenuous when it comes to sneaking a 1-0 win against a very, very shit Southampton in one of the worst games I can remember. And then a 1-0 win via an own goal against a Fulham without a striker who couldn't score if we were there all night. You can't suddenly pretend that everything's rosy in the garden. I mean, the league table looks better and we'll probably stay up now. But that is not what we watch West Ham to see. That is not West Ham, what we're watching now.
No, not at all. Not at all. Right, people in the chat. Again, as always, you don't have to go by the scores. You can say whatever your man in the match wants to be. Shall I put it in? I'll put it in the chat now. Shall I do a poll? Shall I do a poll?
Mm-hmm.
Shall I do a poll?
Yeah, go on.
Hang on a minute. So man in the match. Anyway, can you hear that shit in my ears?
No, go on.
Mm-hmm. Right, hang on a minute. Oh no, I've lost it. Okay, just tell us in the chat who you want your man in the match to be, and we'll have a quick count up. So I think it's going to be Rice anyway, by the looks of it. Man in the match, Harrison Reed. John McCarthy says.
Yeah. I'd go with
Hammerhead's gone Oggy. Hammerhead's gone Oggy.
It's between the two for me, but I would go. I thought Rice was
it was
outstanding yesterday. Yeah.
Dodsey said Fabianski, man in the match as well.
It's not a bad shout, to be fair.
Well, I thought that the save was magnificent, Dodsey. I mean, when you see it, it's like that's a save only an experienced keeper can make, right?
Lewis has said Soufal. I'm not sure about that one.
Soufal was excellent. All the back four and the keeper were excellent, and Rice.
Yeah, but for man in the match, I'm not sure.
For man in the match, yeah, it's a difficult one. I'm torn between Oggy and Rice. But
I know Gary keeps saying yesterday, Garino, he's lost a day.
Yeah, it's been a long weekend. I'm going to
go Rice.
Yeah, I think it's.
I'll go Rice as well. Then go on, let's do Rice.
It's quite. Look, it's quite a split. It's quite a split in there.
Yeah.
There's quite a few for Oggy. There's another couple for Sufal as well, Anthony and James.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll go Rice on this one.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Let's get rid of that. There we go.
Right. So let's talk about one final thing before you open the phone lines, Nick, and I've got to rush off to the toilet.
Go on.
First of all, two questions. Will we survive and will Moyes survive? So let's start with the first one first. Will we survive, Nick?
I think we've got a very good chance of surviving now.
Will we survive?
It's a straight yes or no?
Yeah.
Then I'll go yes now.
Okay. Andy?
Yes.
Excellent. I'm going to say yes as well. I think it's not a done deal, but if we get something against Bournemouth, it kind of will be. Even
I think 6 points will be enough, and I think we might get one more win, and I think we might get 3 draws personally.
I think we'll definitely beat Leeds at home. That's the home banker that we're dependent upon, right?
Yeah.
Right. And then the final question: can or will Moyes survive? And I'm talking. Use the context of we stay up, we win a couple more games, so we're quite comfortable, survived, and then he wins the European Conference League. In that context, can he survive?
No.
Andy?
No.
No. Nick?
No.
I mean, my answer on this is absolutely fucking
it can't,
no.
Look. The other thing, I know there's been other channels that have broached this subject, but can he? Is there any way now that he could recover the situation with the fans now in terms of what we feel about him? Because I don't think he can. I know not everyone hates him in the way that I do. I think there's a lot that do now because he's been singling us out. People are still banging on about the cupping of the year from Sam Allardyce. Yeah. He's been doing this. He's been doing this worse, and it's relentlessly every fucking week. So how could anyone overlook that?
He's been verbally cupping his ear for quite a long time
He's
now.
arrogant.
Quite a long time. He really is arrogant.
Literally hate him.
Yeah. So
But the thing is though, is we've won 2 away games all season. I was there when we beat Villa in August. Like, that's the bit what we've got to get our head around. Like, it's bad.
And people are painting this. They're repainting this as a successful season just because we squeezed a result against Fulham and one against Southampton. People are suddenly scrapping all the thing that's gone by, like the 5-1 and all the other defeats, and saying, we won 2 out of 3. We've got 6 points this week. What are you moaning about?
I know.
Like, I don't do as many away games as what I'd like to. I'll get to a few, but Dobbsy on it, they pay thousands of people away games.
Dodgy travels everywhere.
And then he throws us under the bus like that. That's the thing. It's completely gone.
Yeah, it is ridiculous, and that's what I'm saying to you. I think he got an awful look. He did have credit in the bank for a while, yeah, but he's fucking used that credit up, and he's still trying to use it. He's still trying to spend that credit. But when you go, and that's why he was afforded so much patience with people. Yeah, he was. But you know something? The minute you start doing that, the minute you start going against the fan base like that, especially our fan base, I don't think personally the West Ham fan base of old, there is no coming back from that.
No, I don't.
There is no coming back from that at all.
No.
I was 50-50 until that week when we lost to Palace, Blackburn, and Leicester before the World Cup. Yeah. That's I was like, we've got to give him time, but that week, that's when I lost it.
Yeah,
being honest.
So do you think, a part 2 of that question, do you think if he does that Sullivan will keep him?
That's a different question altogether. I mean, for me, I don't know anymore, Gary. I don't know what if he keeps us up and we go and win the Europa. Do I think that Sullivan could potentially keep him?
I think the answer is yes.
I think the answer is yes. I think he could. Yeah, I think he's more than capable of doing that. And that would be, for me, I've got to be. I don't think I could do this again next season. I couldn't. I'm struggling as it is now. It's everything I hate and detest about football is what Moyes represents. And that was illustrated in that Fulham game. It was, and he was so happy with it. He was so happy with that,
He is honestly. It's fine for people to sit at home and this ain't having a go at people who sit at home on their armchairs and watch football, right? But it kind of is, right? Because I think if you make the effort, or if you're lucky enough to be able to make the effort to go to games, right, you see things in a very different way, because you have done all that traveling to get to the game. You spent the day, there's the before the game, there's the game, there's after the game, and everything else. And when the manager is not even trying to entertain the fans, which is what it's got to now, it is just dross that we're watching, right? It is totally unenjoyable. There's nothing to see there, nothing to see at all.
But Gary, the last time I felt like Saturday, when the full-time whistle went and the interaction with the players, the last time I felt like that was probably Seville or Lyon at home was the last time I felt like that. And that just proves what we've gone like that, because I felt I had hairs on the back, like how loud we were singing, what
brilliant.
it meant to some of the players. It was I'm glad I experienced it.
Honestly, talking about that, we've got I've finally uploaded the video from Dodsey that he sent through to us. So this was the end of the game. This was just for the final whistle.
West Ham 1, Fulham 0, and that is it. Look at that! That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. We are staying up. We are staying up. Claraboos, Nick, Gary, Virgil. We are staying up. All right, my handsomes. All right, my handsomes.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Well done, Dodsey.
Well done, Dodsey. That was very good.
I was down there. I was down there by the corner flag on the left-hand side.
Oh, was you?
Yeah, I was. I think I was row N or M. I think I was. I was. It was. How weird is that? Sorry, how weird they're not using that full stand yet.
I know. There's a bit of it. David Silva was. Is it David Silva, their manager? Anyway, Marco Silva. He was one of two people sat in the middle of that stand, right up the top. That was it.
Was he really?
Yeah. Jesus. So Nick, I've got to nip off for a few minutes. Do you want to? You can do the phone in?
I will turn the phone. Oh, the phone's on. The phone's on.
Oh.
Just need to put the phone line at the phone number up. If anyone does want to call in, you can call in now. If you got me number, so I'll leave it a few minutes before I put the phone number up, because a lot of you have got it already.
Yeah. Even the Fulham fans were cheering for us.
They're such weird fans, though.
They're incredibly tame.
They're lovely. I'll tell you. I was at the pub beforehand. Really nice pub, and chatting to a few of them. They're lovely fans. They're very welcoming.
Hello, Gary. Hang on, I've got hang on.
Screwed it up again.
No, I don't know what's going on. Fuck's sake.
Sort it out, Nick.
I sort it out. This happens every time, doesn't it?
Yeah, I know.
Well, I've got Jonathan Brand as well. He's we'll talk to him.
Jonathan Brand,
Russell Brand. Right, hang on, Gary. I'll try and get you. Hello, Gary. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Right, hang on. For some reason, my phone's fucking around again. So I'll tell you. I'll phone you back.
So it's always a surprise of our first caller, isn't it?
Why has that happened every fucking time? This stupid thing.
Yeah. But no, football is supposed to be fun, right? It's supposed to. You're supposed to really look forward to going to football. And even though I wouldn't dream of not going to football, because I just go. It's just a part of my life. I just go, right?
Yeah.
Even though I wouldn't dream of going, I don't look forward to it anymore. I think it's grim.
Hey, there we go. It's up.
Hello,
Gary.
Yeah, I can hear you, mate.
Oh, good stuff, mate. Good stuff. How are you, Gary? Anyway, I'm on with my brother Gary, and we're on with Andy Miles as well.
Hi, Gary.
Yeah. Hello, Gary. Hello, Andy.
Hi, mate.
Hello, mate. Yeah, I just want to say, I can't ever remember watching us win a game. And so, well, at all. I mean, it's all about the result. I know that was all important. Could well keep us up, but the actual performance itself. The funny thing is, we played better against Newcastle football-wise than we did against Southampton and Fulham. And yet we got beat 5-1. We played some good stuff at times at Newcastle. Just defending, we just give them 4 gifts.
Well, that's right. I think that the Newcastle game itself, there were passages of play in that game where you probably could say, as weird as it is, it probably weren't our worst performance of the.
I quite enjoyed it,
and that's how bad it is. But we deservedly lost 5-1. I know it was the individual errors.
In the end, we did. It was just it was a timing of the goals. You know, the first two, the third one after half time, I thought we were going to come out second half because we got on top of Newcastle towards the latter stage of the first half.
Yeah.
And we just, anyway, let's put that behind us now. Looking ahead to these games, I know you was talking earlier. Got some. The thing is, it's the goal difference we've got to look at here, and we can't have another 5-1 this season. If we're going to lose to Man City or we're going to lose to Arsenal, then keep it down, because it could come down to goal difference. It really, really could. And but the other two games, Liverpool, Man United, while they're both very good at home, their away form, both of them teams are very suspect.
That is true.
They are, but you must factor in the elephant in the room. This is not the old West Ham where it's the West Ham way to go and beat these big teams now. You've got that's gone. Under David Moyes, that's gone. We are now submissive to games. I've said this before, and I'm convinced that David Moyes has got a chart on the wall of games where he thinks that's 3 points. We've got to win that one. Don't worry about that. And I am convinced that's the way that he's managing this run-in. And I don't think that he will think, right, Man City, we don't need to put too much into that. It don't matter. Just keep the score down. But the question is, going back to what you said there with our goal difference, how do we keep the goal score, the score down? Because we showed against Newcastle, if we try and press, it's a mess. If we try and do what we did against Fulham, which is basically what we tried to do against Brighton, we'll get picked apart against a better team. We will. So how can David Moyes keep the scores down?
C&B.
Hang on. I lost him.
Oh.
Hello? Sorry, mate.
No,
Are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yeah, sorry. I was talking and you was gone. So I said how can David Moyes keep the score down against those teams, the big ones?
Well, if you look at the last two seasons prior to this season, when we played Man City, United away from home, we've never been hammered by them, have we? We've always been like 1-0, 2. I mean, to be honest here now, we've got to forget about Moyes. We've got to forget about entertaining football. It's just about getting them results and getting over the line now. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
And then we can start again next season. But what I want to say is the transfer window, I don't want to write it off and say it's been a disaster, but you look at the 4 players that have come in, Aguerd, Paqueta, Scamacca and Kieran. None of them have ever played in the Premier League before. Now, and at the moment, Scamacca doesn't look like he wants to be here. Aguerd is gone from looking like a world-class defender to like a liability in the last few weeks.
Yeah.
Kira is just not good enough. The only one is Paqueta, who's sort of showing signs. But maybe we've got to give them this season for them to adjust to the pace of the Premier League.
But I mean, sorry to interject there, Gary, but I've said this before, and I actually mean this, and I mean this with Kira as well. I am not writing any player off. Just because these are good players that we've brought in, or they were, and David Moyes
international players as well.
Yeah, they're international players, but they might not be able to work in the David Moyes system. I know a lot of our fans will go, "Oh, nah, Premier League, it's not." No, David Moyes doesn't really play like any other manager, and he doesn't set up to get the best out of his players. All of his players have got to be squeezed into his system, and they've got to play his way. So for me, they're all getting a clean slate. Hopefully, they'll stick around, and some other manager will get a chance to get some use out of them.
I'll tell you a good example of what you're saying. Crystal Palace yesterday, I watched the second half of Leeds. And I mean, the two, Elise and Eze, look unbelievable. And, I know we had a debate the other week about this, didn't we? And to be fair to you, Nick, you got it right. I thought it would be a bad move bringing Hodgson in, but he's come in, just put his arm around them, and they look a different team, don't they?
That's all you've got to do at this stage in the season, and that's what we said. So now we're at the stage, because look, when you bring someone in after January this late on, they can't really affect it too much tactically. They can't bring in their own players because the January transfer window's closed. All they've got to do is basically just try and rally the troops, get them motivated, because you're being brought in because there's a massive problem there. So the odds are confidence is going to be at an all-time low. You've just got to come in and G everyone up.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've taken 6 points out of the last 9, so what's a nice question to the three of you. The Arsenal game on Sunday. Now, bearing in mind the defence against Newcastle and the defence against Fulham, different personnel. But with Arsenal, it's a different ball game. They've got a lot of pace in that side. So do you recall Aguerd and bring him back in? Do you bring back Emerson? And would you go with the back 4? or would you go with wing backs and maybe play again Azuma and Oggy, and then maybe have Kafau and Emerson as fullbacks? Because obviously Arsenal got a lot of pace in their side. Or would you much rather go out and have a go at them, or would you rather just keep it tight and try and nick a point?
Go on, Gal.
You know that Kehra's best position, really the only position he's played well in so far, is the right-hand side of a back three, right? And he hasn't really let us down in that position yet. So he ain't played there very often. He's played there like twice. So I would personally stiffen it up and go with 5 at the back or 3 at the back, or however you want to call it. I would go with Kehra, Zuma, and Aguerd for that in the middle. I would go with Soufal, even though he's not a wing back, he can do a job. And I'd go with Emerson over the other side for that as well, because you're right, we do need pace and we need people who are going to stop. Kehra will be able to get across and help out Soufal, hopefully, in that. You know, that is the sort of game, honestly, that is the game where Souček can't start. He can't start.
He can't go.
He absolutely will start. He will start. Andy, what are your thoughts, Andy? Andy, what are your thoughts on that?
Do you know what? I actually can't see Souček. I think he'll play on Thursday. I think he's going to put his eggs in try and get the tie 1 on Thursday. Play a lot of the players, and I think Gary, was it you who said it? I think it'll be a mixed bag. I think on Sunday, I don't know who he's going to pick. If I'm being perfect, I think Oggy will probably play on Thursday, which, like you said, will mean Aguerd will play. But I feel sorry for Cresswell as well. We've done well, but it's Fulham. Fulham compared to Arsenal is different. But I think Emerson has to come in.
It's like Kehra did well against Southampton, and then he came up against Newcastle. And the same with Aguerd, right? I mean, if you look good against a really poor side, I don't think you can read too much into it other than say you played well, you did well. But you can't compare Fulham to Arsenal, can you?
And the same can be said. Look, I will say now, I think if he had legs, he would still be by far our best defender in Ogbonna. But Ogbonna up against fast, dynamic players that are swarming all over the place. I don't think he can't be dealing with that.
Sorry, Gail, go on, carry on.
Go on, Andy.
No, I would play Flynn Downs next to Rice next Sunday, and I think and then what you'll do is Odegaard. You'll just tell Flynn Downs to man mark him, take him out. I'll literally just tell Flynn Downs that's all you got to do, and then put Paqueta or Fornals in there as well to help with Partey and Jack.
Will he be fit Sunday, Paqueta?
Well, I don't believe that he was unfit, mate. I don't believe that he was unfit.
No. I think we've got to pack the midfield, bring in Fornals, but just break from midfield, just smother them in midfield. Don't let Odegaard get on the ball. Get in Xhaka's face, wind him up. You see how he is yesterday.
And, that's legs. Fornals, and
energy and dynamism. You know, three players. I mean, the only thing is they might not be best suited to playing in a David Moyes block.
Yeah,
because they're dynamic. They want to pass. They want to move. They want to get forward, especially when they're playing in central areas. And I do think it's like you said before, Gary, and I'm starting to. I do get it now. The reason he plays Fabianski over Areola is because Fabianski slows the game down. He doesn't. There's no quick distribution, you know, which you need. And surely, especially, and that's what doesn't actually doesn't make sense to me, because if what you're doing is you're playing this low block and you want to hit teams on the counter, surely it's of benefit to have a keeper with good distribution.
Yeah. I think the two has got to be left out on Sunday is Souček and Ings. They've got both to be left outside. Because when you're playing against Arsenal, they're going to have a lot of possession Sunday. And the ideal one for this is Antonio, because he will run the channels. If Holding's playing still, he may be able to push onto him, give him a bit of trouble. You know, but really, I won't say it's a free hit, because, you know, we need more points still. But it's interesting.
It is a free hit. We're not expecting to get anything from that. And I'll tell you, I am gonna put this to you now. Now, we all love Declan Rice. I've just given him 9, and he was my man of the match. Now, listen, right? Is Declan Rice, who is supposed to be have a deal arranged to go to Arsenal, is Declan Rice going to be party to? Is he going to be fully invested in us basically hammering a hole in their push for the title this year? Do you think there could be a part of him? If this is true, and this move that everyone's been talking about is on, do you think that could be playing in the back of his mind a little bit, or do you think he's going to be 100%? He'll be behind West Ham, because
I think he'll be behind West Ham.
No, because what I'm saying is, if they lose that game, Man City have got the opportunity to pull level with Arsenal. They have.
It's in Man City's hands now. There's There's still Man City have got to play Arsenal, so it's in Man City's hand with a game in hand.
Yeah. You know
Well,
what
you
I'm saying?
could say that.
You know what I'm saying, though?
It's in Arsenal's hands as well, because even if Man City beat us with a game in hand and they put it within 3 points, Arsenal don't have to go up Man City and win the game. Just got to draw the game. Keeps them at 3 points.
Yeah.
So that only works if City beat Arsenal. But I think Arsenal will start showing signs of the pressure getting to them. I think they will. And what we've got to do Sunday, we've got to bring the crowd. We've got to bring the crowd into this game as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm more scared about
tempo.
Sunday?
Go on.
Is how many fucking Arsenal fans are going to be in that home, and I reckon it could get naughty.
You reckon?
Yeah, I really.
What you talking about? Their new ultras? You talking about new ultras?
Well, no, it's the West Ham lot. I was there when
it's Arsenal, though. It's Arsenal. They're like a friendly aunt, aren't they?
To be honest, that game yesterday, I watched the Arsenal game yesterday, and they were 2-0 up, and they were strolling. The crowd were quiet, and that idiot Xhaka, he got the crowd involved, and from that moment, the game changed.
Well, they are bullies. We saw that when we played them before. Even fucking their Arteta, they are bullies, horrible, nasty. Unfortunately, that's the mentality you need if you're going to win things. But that's and I think if you're going to beat them, you've got to play them at their own game. Play dirty. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Play dirty against them. Yeah.
I'll go down like what they done yesterday.
What's that?
They kept slowing the game down. They did it several times. Deliberately. I think Ramsdale went down. There's nothing wrong with him. It was just to try, keep the crowd quiet.
Yeah.
Must admit, I don't usually mind Arsenal. But this year they've got up my nose a little bit. Very entitled, aren't they?
No, but the arrogance has gone to another level this year.
Yeah.
I mean, because like you, it's always been Spurs for me. My completely rational hatred, because it's not irrational. There's nothing irrational about hating Spurs. It's always been Tottenham. Arsenal, I've always been a bit meh. I don't like any other team, any other London team. But my real hatred was with Spurs. But I've got to be honest. I don't know what it is. They're starting to get a little bit, because it's always the fans that affect us in that way. Yeah. And the Arsenal fans, have been fucking horrible this year.
Yeah, they have.
They probably expect. They probably expect. I'm going to watch some of the Arsenal stuff in the week. The fan channel. They probably think they're just going to turn up Sunday. We're going to roll over. I'll bet you that's what they think.
But that's likely what we'll probably do. Let's face it.
I think it's fair to expect that.
I think that's what we'll do.
Yeah.
Well, I want to see a performance on Sunday. I want this. We're going to have to do it. We're going to have to break in. Play on the counter attack. We've got to be realistic about it. Arsenal are a good side. Yeah. They can have a lot. They're going to have a lot of possession. We just smother the midfield. Get midfield. Play one up front and just smother the midfield.
I can't remember.
Playing well again there.
I can't remember who it was, but this is a typical Arsenal fan. It was one of the channels. I can't remember which channel it was, but someone had a chat with an Arsenal fan, and it's like, "What do you think of West Ham?" And this Arsenal fan is like, "I think it was almost like this. This is the way I heard it anyway. I think you're very good. I think you're very good.
Yeah,
I think you're doing very well for West Ham. You're doing very well, but I think we'll beat you." And that's what I heard. That's what I heard. That's what I always hear from Arsenal.
I would just, you can say hearsay, but like these games like Arsenal, Man United, Liverpool, if only we were at Upton Park and we needed these results, they'll be shitting themselves coming to Upton Park, knowing what it is. But the London Stadium's just not the same. It's like flipping going to Wembley, isn't it? To them, no, you know what I mean? It's like in a home game, neutral ground.
I know. I know, but anyway, look, we've got another caller to get on. So we'll give you one. We'll give you one more thing, Gary. Go on, one more thing.
Yeah, one more thing. What I was going to say, I don't know if any of you picked up on it. You know the Newcastle game. The crowds were right in there. Was that because you think we went off very unusually? Went off at a very high tempo right from the start.
Yeah, that can work if you do, and that's the whole idea of it, isn't it? I think that's why you do get out the blocks quick, and that's what Newcastle have been so good at this year, isn't it? Newcastle have been coming out the blocks at fucking 300 mile an hour. It's been ridiculous the way that they've been playing. But I think we were. I think we were the better team for 4 minutes in that game, weren't we? in the Newcastle game, we were really good for 4 minutes.
I think actually, Nick, once we went 2-0 up, I think up to half time, I think we was on top of them. It was just like we got back to 2-1. And I mean, I thought second half, get out there, get at them early, get a goal. I thought we could get a draw out of the game.
Most people were probably feeling quite buoyant at half time in the sense that you think we're still in it.
third goal. I couldn't believe it. I was sick. Sickening, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It would be fantastic if we could get something on Sunday, though. Just something, just a point.
Yeah,
you know,
not much.
Wouldn't it be good?
I mean, look, we have given Man City a helping hand before, haven't we?
We have.
Mm.
You know,
yeah.
So you don't know, but anyway, Gary, thank you very much for the call, mate. I'm going to give our mate Jonathan a call back.
Cheers, Gary.
You take
Lovely.
it easy.
Cheers, mate. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Right. One more thing, people. One more thing. Right. Here we go.
Ah, you right, lads?
Yeah, not bad, mate. How are you, Jonathan? You're good?
I'm all right. Yeah, I'm pretty good, thanks, mate. Yeah,
Pretty good.
not too bad.
I told you, Gal. See, we get a little win. Jonathan comes crawling out the woodwork. I told you, didn't
Oh,
I?
has he been trolling me? Is he the one that went on about my hairline on Twitter?
Nah, don't go on Twitter. It's all right. Not me. Not me.
But anyway, Jonathan, come on, hit us with it. What do you want to talk about?
I don't know, just went up for a chat, really. It's one of them. I mean, you're not going to ask me the question. Are you Moyes out yet?
Oh, mate, that ship sailed.
You're not doing that
That
today.
ship sailed, yeah.
That ship's sailed now, isn't it? I was talking to a mate about this today, and he's just had it. He's fed up with it now completely. He hates Moyes. He wants him out as well.
Yeah.
Obviously the game was tough. I mean, the thing is, 20% possession against what is essentially a newly promoted team is not good enough. It doesn't.
Yeah,
it doesn't bode well.
Yeah.
Without Mitrovic. Obviously, it doesn't bode well. The thing is, the way that the board are.
Sorry, Jonathan. If I give this man a shout out to his growing channel, he might go away. Foot goal. There's your shout out. Now, fuck off.
Subscribe.
Sorry,
and
mate,
like.
yeah.
Yeah, I think I was just saying to my mate today.
God.
He's going to snip that and put it on his Twitter now as well.
Right, but sorry, mate. Go on. Sorry about that.
No, it's all right. Yeah, I think the way the board usually get rid of managers is either, as they did with Pellegrini and Bilic, or it is literally after the final whistle of the last game of the season. So he's either gonna go after that, or he's gonna stay for another year, isn't he? Depending on what happens.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, there is. Look, we've got to look at that as a very real possibility. I mean, with what we've had to tolerate this season, and with the fact that he's still here now, which defies any fucking logical understanding, really. When you consider the money that he spent, and even that, the fact, Jonathan, when you look at that game at the weekend, he binned them all. He was like, nah, it didn't work, that experiment. I'm going back to the old God. Even that,
that's pretty mad.
Even that as well. That for me, that to me, that's like a big fuck you to the board.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. The thing is,
the
team he played. The thing is about the old guard stuff that's been said this week. What the team he played against Fulham probably be the team he plays against Arsenal. It's going to be that kind of thing. He's probably going to go for this. I think Andy said it. I think he'll go for Thursday night. You'll see Paqueta back in, Emerson.
Yeah,
we need to get Skamaka fit. We need to get Skamaka fit because Antonio's played a lot of games in the last couple of years and he's not scored. He's not this. I still think he's important for the squad, but we all know about Antonio. He's not prolific. He's hardly scoring any goals. Danny Ings is, I think, decent to have off the bench because he might nick a goal. But he's not like the focal point. Yeah, he's a good player to bring on in 70 minutes if you need to get a goal, and he might just pop up. But Skamaka's got to be in that team when he's fit.
But Jonathan, can you imagine playing that same team as we played yesterday and using the same approach of sitting back and giving the ball to Arsenal?
Yeah, but what I think, it's terrible, but I think he's probably gonna be looking at trying to keep the goals down.
He will. And to be honest, I mean, at this stage now, look, I think, and this is why I'm in my own little personal it's a personal conundrum because I lose my shit completely when David Moyes plays the way that he plays there. But look, this was against Fulham. I think we could have been far more expensive against Fulham. But we saw against Newcastle, the issue that we've got is it isn't personnel. David Moyes can't play any other way. So it's almost suicide if he attempts to do something different.
Well, the thing is, what's happening?
It's suicidal.
we play exactly like he's 59. He's nearly 60 now, and he's played the same way since I can remember. So we play like Everton. Well, we had done a couple of years previously. We played like he did with Everton. That's his style. So it's like dogged.
Yeah.
Defend hard and hit on the break. That's what he tried. That's what he tried to do. I think this summer, what's happened is he was never going to change his adapt or change. He's not going to do that now. I think he brought in better quality players, and he wants to play the same system better, if that makes sense. And it hasn't worked because these players can't. They're not.
No.
The thing is, he's a mid-table manager that can get the best out of not mediocre players, but like mid-table players, and then they can punch above their weight. But when it comes to sort of taking you forward, it's not going to happen. The thing is, I would definitely take Brendan Rodgers at this point. I mean, of all the managers, I want a high press.
He would be my
attacking football.
He would be my choice. And like I said, we did a poll. We did a poll on one of these shows the other day. We're quite a few people. I think it's about 600 people on that one. I was surprised because we had. I honestly thought Brendan Rodgers. He was bottom. He was rock bottom, and we had the likes of Carrick in there, Postecoglou, who no one really knows much about. If they're being honest, some people will, but the majority of people don't. I'm not saying I don't want him. I'd like any progressive manager, but you think Brendan Rodgers, he's got a thoroughly good fucking record wherever he's been, and he plays a good brand of football.
Well, that's the thing. If you look back, right, what he did with Swansea was brilliant. He had them playing some really, really good football. He left, they got relegated. He went to Liverpool, nearly won the league. Then he went to, obviously, Celtic anyway. Anyone can go there and do really well.
Yeah.
Well, not anyone, but Neil Lennon did really well as well, didn't he? So that was it. Leicester, he won the FA Cup. I think they finished 5th and 6th, didn't they? Or maybe 5th twice.
Top 6 twice, yeah.
FA Cup win against Chelsea.
Yeah,
he's good. The thing about Brendan Rodgers is straight away everything will change in terms of the pitch.
Yeah,
he only plays one way, but that's the way we want to play. If that makes sense. So I don't see him as like a master tactician. I think like Graham Potter, what I like about it, or what I think he's good at, in-game tactics. He can read, like, while you're playing, he can switch things up, which is something Moyes doesn't do. I don't see Brendan Rodgers as someone who's really good at tactics, or if things aren't going well for Brendan Rodgers in the game, I don't see him being able to do anything about it, but will at least be playing football, good football we want to see. I
think Brendan Rodgers is one of those guys. I think, well, he actually is. So if people talk about Bielsa's, he's got the nice name. He's a visionary. Brendan Rodgers is a visionary. He has a way. He has a way that he sees the game, a way that he wants. Yeah. It's a way he coaches them on the pitch. He physically coaches them. It's a way that he wants the game to be played, and he doesn't really ever compromise that. He doesn't ever.
Yeah, like Wenger did. I know he's not Wenger. I'm not pointing, but that type of play, we know what we're going to get. Just the same way we know what we're going to get with Moyes, but it's just the opposite.
We've now got a coach that doesn't coach the players. Well, he coaches the football out of the players. But that's
the thing is, right? I mean, the way I see it, if he doesn't get, this is me. I know it's not going to be the case for you. You're going to be devastated. If Sullivan keeps him, then I will go into the season and I will be hopeful that this was a bad season for Moyes, this one, and that next season we start again. But the thing is, if we play the same, he'll be gone within the first month. Like, it'd have to be a lot better. I don't see. My friend said to me today, "What evidence can I provide for that?" And really, he got me. I can't really provide any evidence.
Do you know what the risk is? The risk is we've also got another huge rebuild coming this summer. We've got a load of players that are getting old, that are moving on.
Looking at Nick,
we've got a load of players that are going. Would you, if you was David Sullivan, trust Moyes again with another rebuild?
No, that's what I'm saying. So I think that he'll be got. I think if he's going to go, it will be at the end of the season. They'll put a very nice statement out if he keeps us up. That is, if we go down, he's gone anyway. But I think if we go down, he might have more chance of keeping his job in a weird way. Because
I think that's a really good point.
The pool of managers we're going to attract will be less. But the thing is, if we stay up, they'll put a nice statement out saying thank you for whatever, keeping us up the first time, having a couple of decent seasons, and then obviously keeping us up this time. Thank you, but we're looking for a new direction. That's what I think will happen. But it's 50-50. Someone said, I don't know, remember who said it. It's probably 50-50.
I think it's such a valid point, though,
Easily
because
keep him.
this ain't any old summer coming up, right? This is the summer where you lose Declan Rice. This is the summer where he's going to have to go and spend big again. And you're absolutely right, Nick. There's no way, me as David Sullivan, there's no way I would say to David Moyes, there you go, there's another couple of 100 million. Do fantastic work like you did last time, right? So
that's why he's probably kept him this season as well.
Tried to put this exact same comment in the chat last week. He says there's something not right about Rodgers. what's wrong with him?
But do you know what,
He's a great man. He's a great man.
I think that David Sullivan's probably sort of one of the reasons he's kept Moyes the whole season is because he's probably thinking, I've just fucking given you 200 million, mate.
Yeah.
Like, as in, make it fucking work. And that's probably part of it as well. So, yeah, he would be then thinking, well, I don't want to give you the Declan Rice money and do this all over again. It's a big... They probably made their mind... I think at this point, if he's going, he's already gone. Like, the minds would be made up, I would have thought. There's nothing he can do. Even if he wins the Europa League, it's a separate competition. They are separate things, like it's a cup.
Yeah.
The way he's done, what he's done in the league, there's no... Yeah, go on.
Also, there is an upside. There is an upside to changing him out in the summer, right? And that is we don't have to get a disaster recovery manager. We can go out and get a manager who is coming in, you know, who needs a project. That is someone like Potter. Yeah. Or someone who's going to have a full preseason and a transfer window, and they can make that, and they can get to know the players, and you know, we can hit the ground running next year.
Yeah, I like the idea of Potter. I like the idea of having someone who's actually really good with tactics. And I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but is he one for the youth as well?
He is.
Yeah, he is.
And look, I think Gary's made the point before. I'm a little bit more rattled now. I was very much, you know, when Graham Potter was at Brighton before he went to Chelsea, and then Chelsea nabbed him. I was fucking heartbroken because I've been Moyes out that long. I've been harping on, and he was the manager that I wanted. I have been a bit rattled with how poorly he's done at Chelsea. But look, Chelsea is a different prospect. He wasn't ready for the Chelsea job. It's like the amount of managers that have gone to Man United and failed. It's full of egos, full of all these big fucking like they've got like three teams worth of players there. You know, it's ridiculous what you've got. How do he wanted to play a completely different style? Because let's face it, right? Chelsea, they've had their most successful years under Mourinho, Conte. They're a shithouse team. Yeah, with great players. It's the way they've always played, and it's been fine. It's the way that they've won things. But ultimately, they don't play beautiful football. It's not the way that they play. It's not part of their philosophy. So I think Potter's come in to try and change everything, and they're probably looking at him, some of those players, going, "Who the fuck are you? Where'd you come from, Brighton?"
I've just had a look here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I've just had a look here. So the ones who are up, contracts expiring. So Soufal, but it says we've got a club option of 2 years. Right. Danzini club option for 2 years apparently.
Yeah.
Creswell, Fabianski option for a further year, and Bonner. But the ones what get me is their ages. Obviously, they're all the other side of 30 now.
Yes.
But the ones next year are the ones what are worrying. So you've got Rice with the club option with one, obviously. But Rice is obviously going to. Our mate Souček's got a club option another year as well. So you can imagine that him signing a new deal.
Yeah.
And then you've got Fornals, Ben Johnson, and you've got Antonio option for a further year as well. That means Antonio will be 35.
Yeah. And Antonio, I've got to be honest now, as much as I love Antonio. He's got to be time. It's got to be time in the summer.
If we stay up, If we go down, I'd say keep him.
Yeah. But I don't think we will go down now. I mean, that's the only...
No. I can see him going Forest in the summer.
Yeah, possibly. They bought every other fucker, aren't they? So,
if we get rid of Moyes as well, it's going to have to be before these contracts expire properly, isn't it?
It's got to be early. If they do
very
it
early.
Yeah.
Do you know another thing I like about Potter as well? Sorry to interrupt. Stuff that Moyes doesn't do. Say, like, for instance, what Moyes will do. Say Antonio's, I don't know, playing well.
Yeah.
But you know, his shooting's off or whatever. He'll take him off and put Ings on. When someone like Potter, what he'll do is he'll move Antonio onto the left wing, or if that's not working, or stuff like this, he'll do stuff like Bowen and Benrahma. He'll switch them during the game. You know, little things like that, which are like watching the game and looking at the ebb and flow. We need something like that. Moyes, it's so flipping like for like. If it's not working, he just brings another player on.
Well, the last time we played Brighton when Potter was in charge, that was when he basically made the change. So we was a goal down.
Yeah.
So we'd gone a goal down, and then David Moyes made the change. He took Ben Rama off, who was being marked. He weren't having a good game because Potter had seen him. He had identified him as a danger man and had two players on him, Trossard and the fullback. And what he did was he shifted Antonio out wide, pulled Ben Rama off the pitch. From that point on, Potter's basically the minute he started, you saw it, he was smiling, straight away made a change. All of a sudden, Trossard's basically been released. They've gone, we don't need to on Antonio. Rampaging up the pitch. Yeah. And that's where the other goal came from. He basically gave them their second goal. He played into their hands. And that's what you're saying is exactly right. When was the last time, if ever, that David Moyes tactically in game has made a change to win us the game?
He hasn't.
Not I know one.
Go on.
When we beat Chelsea at home 3-2 last year.
Masuaku.
Yeah, that's the only one. That's the only one. And because we were talking about that on Saturday.
That's true.
He'll be coming back on Saturday with Vlasic, won't he? On in the summer, he'll be coming back.
But I'll tell you what, though. Talking about the youth, what will be good. So obviously, I was at the London Stadium on Thursday last. That was flipping great. That was.
They was good, weren't they?
That was good. But I reckon at least 4 of them will be in the starting 11 in 3 years. And mine is Oxford, Scarles, Mubama, and probably Kelly. Kelly impressed me as well. Marshall looks good as well. But
did you hear? Do you know Mubama? John brought it up the other day, and I thought, no, it can't have been. But then I actually saw the article. There were 36 scouts at that game from different clubs, all Premier League clubs, and others from around the world as well to look at Mubama.
4 from Germany as well. 4 from Germany.
So basically, this is how this happens. If you don't give these boys opportunities and a pathway into the first team, they're going to get the opportunities elsewhere, and it ain't because they're greedy little bastards. It's because they want to play football.
Exactly.
And I've got to be honest. If it's my son, like I've said before, you look at Josh Cullen, bless him. He did everything by the book. The hardest worker. Anyone you've heard about from the youth academy has said he was a model professional his entire youth career, all the way through. He had two or three brilliant loan spells. Couldn't have done any more. He's always looked good in the pre-season before he's been farmed out again.
Remember, it was Juventus, wasn't it? Juventus when we first moved there. He was one of the best players, wasn't he?
He's one of the best players, but we eventually let him go and start his career at 25 or 26.
Yeah.
That's
bollocks.
As well. It's bollocks.
I'm not being funny as well. Like, fucking hell, Michael Owen's scoring in the World Cup at 18 years old.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And we've got what we've got. I haven't got anything against Danny Ings, but you basically brought in a fucking 31-year-old, right? On 125 grand a week.
Yeah.
And he like, why couldn't Mubama be the third choice striker? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why not?
I was having a chat on that point. I was having a chat with Jim Grant from Stop Hammer Time before the game on Saturday.
Football friends.
And he said exactly that. He said he would rather than Danny Ings play, he'd rather see Mubama start up front because he's all we've seen is goodness from him so far, right? And whenever he's come on the pitch, he's looked full of energy, full of enthusiasm. He clearly knows where the goal is. I mean, he's even scored 1.5 times for the first team, isn't he? Right? And that's on not very many performances. You know, this kid's a talent. And talent needs airing. You can't just keep talent locked away in the back room. By bringing Danny Ings in, he's basically pushed Mubama down another place in the pecking order.
But I'll tell you what, Gary, not only has he got pace, he's got the physique already. It's worrying how built he is ready for. And I think he'll be able to handle the Premier League. And I would honestly start him on Thursday. I really would.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy, isn't it? All he's done with Danny Ings, really, he's blown 15 million already on which was essentially the summer budget, which is going to be, we're on a little bit of a budget. I know that Declan's leaving, but we're going to have to spend money there. We've got a load of players leaving, so he spent 15 million on a 31-year-old, and we also got our wage bill quite tidy, didn't we?
Yeah.
So he's fucking going to give him 125 grand, which other players are going to look at that because he ain't going to get in the first team soon.
No.
And with Smack comes back, other players are going to want fucking pay rise. It's a stupid. Again, really nothing against Danny. His wages weren't so high and stuff. I wouldn't mind it, but it's just not very good, not very astute. It was a panic buy, wasn't it? Really,
mate. And I don't know whether it's because he was carrying an injury, but in that game on Saturday, I didn't realise quite how slow he was. He's really slow.
I'm
when
quicker.
he's trying to run in behind or something like that, he's fucking. He runs like he's got knackered knees. He runs like a little bit. I do
you know what makes me laugh?
It reminds me of
When
Owen.
we
It
signed
reminds
him-
me of Owen his last couple of years. That's who it reminds me of.
Oh yeah, Owen was shit at the end. Do you know what makes me laugh? People when he was signing, people were going, "Oh, it's like having Kitson." But I don't know what everyone else remembers, but I remember Kitson being pretty shit. Really, wasn't.
Without Artson, yeah, they were
but
good pair.
they worked well.
Pair.
It was a good pairing though. It was a good pairing.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. No, I remember the season, and I remember it being a good signing at the time because we needed. It was to stay up, wasn't it?
Hartson was a star. He was a star at the show.
Yeah. Kitson was the bit part player. You know.
Yeah, he was a veteran carrier, wasn't he? Kitson, really. That's all he was. But
again, Jermaine Defoe got in the year later, didn't he? Whatever. Again, a young player. Imagine if Moyes was in charge of us when we had like Lampard, Rio, Jermaine, all of them. They wouldn't have got in.
No, they wouldn't. You're right.
Let's try to say
Declan Rice might not be Declan Rice now if Moyes if we hadn't got rid of Moyes Pellegrini.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, Trodger's expanded on his Rogers point, saying, I'm not sure why, but I just trust in a gut feeling. So his gut feeling is that Brendan Rodgers is not right. Right, Mandy G's asked a question that we're all going to have to broach as well, if this does happen. If we win the Conference League, would Moyes be our most successful manager in 40 years, given the 2 top 7 finishes? Statistically, yes.
No.
Yeah, technically, yeah.
I mean,
statistically, but he ain't even my favourite manager in the last fucking 6 years.
Is it better
7 years?
Is it better than nearly winning the league and finishing third?
No,
winning the Conference League.
No, but I'm not joking. I would not swap that last season at the Boleyn for the last 3. That for me was amazing. It was brilliant. I know it was a special season, and everything else, but that was a season where we saw genuine.
It was magical,
flair, top class. We was beating everyone. That was one of the last times in those seasons where, do you know, like when you win a goal down, you just didn't give a fuck. You just thought we're coming back.
Player in the division. We had the best player in the division. Yeah. It was just a joy to watch. I agree with you completely. It was so much fun.
It was amazing. So statistically,
that is what football should be.
Statistically, on paper. Yes, he's got 2 top 7 finishes, and if he wins the Europa Conference League, then you won't be able to argue with it statistically. No, but when you factor everything else in and put the context into it, then no, it's been awful. The football's been shit. There's been no enjoyment factor. You know, there hasn't been. So no.
Only the third manager ever to win a cup for West Ham. Moyes was Pardew was a few minutes away from doing it, but that says more about the club than about the achievement. Because for the club to have only, if this happens, to have only won 1 trophy in 43 years is really appalling, isn't it? It's terrible.
Yeah, no, it is. It is bad. It is bad. But Jonathan, would you like one more thing before you go, or
No, I'm pretty good, man. I kind of got my points off. It's just one of those, like, I do now want, I do want like a better, more progressive manager at the end of the season. I can take, as long as we stay up, I'm all right. If he does stay, then I will just hope that this was a fucking awful season, and then obviously it gets better. But I suspect that it'll probably be shit, and then it'll get sacked by the end of September or something.
Yeah.
So I want to move on because it is sad, and I do understand why you're doing it, because you're speaking your feelings, and I understand it. But every channel is about Moyes because he's so divisive. Like the whole season has been about Moyes, and I'm not blaming anyone for it. It's been such a shitty season, isn't it? It's been so fucking poor.
But it's
and it's such a shame
he's sitting at home enjoying it. Moyes he's loving the attention. Yeah. That's the thing.
I'll get that feeling.
But guys, you know what the shame is though? We've been out of Europe for so many years up until recently. We've got is it a quarter final on Thursday?
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it though for me.
No.
It doesn't feel like it. I'm not. Do you know what I mean? We should be really looking forward to this. We should be sitting, up the league, top 10, and really looking forward to this game. But we're already thinking, oh, fuck off.
Because there's so much sort of surrounding this season as well, and you've got an awful lot of people now that have kind of that have had it. Look, listen, I think you probably got 3 groups. I reckon. I still think you probably got the largest portion of the fan base are the ones that sit in the middle, and they're probably apathetic either way, and they wouldn't really mind if David Moyes turned it round. And that's fine. But that, but then you've got a very small fucking minority now, and that's the way it's gone. That are staunch Moyes in. I don't know how you can be at this point. But then you've got a lot of people now, that are Moyes out, and I just think when you're on that side of things, it's really difficult because it's hard to feel enthusiastic about this season. If you feel as passionately as what I do about it, and it's like I was saying earlier on, you know, some idiot on Twitter sort of likened me. Oh, you're doing this when it, you know, you're doing it for clicks, this, that, the other. No. I was doing this when I was in the minority, and it probably wasn't very good for fucking subscribers. I was saying the same thing. Yeah, but I was one of. It was an unfavourable opinion to have. But the fact is, the fact is, it's. I don't know. Do I want us to win a trophy? Yes, I do. Of course, I do. But I dislike that guy so much.
Do you know
I dislike him so much I can't stand him. I can't stand him.
Do you know what? Do you know what's crazy? And I know this. Some people won't agree. Football-wise, for next season, the actual worst-case scenario that could happen this year is us to win the Europa League and get relegated.
Oh,
that's
no.
fucked up.
Yeah, that'd be terrible.
That would be an absolute disaster.
We'd have to just concede in the Europa League. To be honest, we'd have to play the kids and get knocked out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100%.
I know.
100%. All right, guys. Anyway, I'm up at 5. So
cheers, Jonathan.
Cheers, Jonathan.
Thanks for having me on.
See you later.
Speak to you, guys. Take care.
Thank you very much. Cheers, mate.
Right, we're at an hour and 3/4.
An hour and 3/4. Shall I put the number up, or have you got to be up in the morning?
Well, should we? I mean, we'll call it a limit of 2 hours. Yeah. See if anyone else wants to call in. Otherwise, we're finished.
Right. Okay. There we go.
While we're doing that, should we do a prediction quickly on the remaining fixtures? How many points we're going to get?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So Arsenal
loss.
Or full ass for me.
Yeah.
Actually, should we do that realistically again? Do you reckon we're going to get through quarterfinals?
Yeah. Yes. I think it gets difficult for us in the semi-final with probably AZ Alkmaar, who are probably the best team in it, and then apparently Fiorentina. I was talking to an Italian fan the other day. Fiorentina have had a massive upturn in form, so we could have 2 very difficult ties.
Hold that thought, Andy. We'll get back to it after Dave from Raynham. Hello, Dave.
Hello, mate.
Hello, mate. You all right? How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you.
You're good. This is Dave, whose young grandson Dylan done that drawing.
Oh, lovely drawing.
It was a good drawing, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's well chuffed. He was. He's only watched it about 15 times.
Who was the one, Dave? Who was the one in the top left-hand corner with a big square head? Was that John?
No, that was Nick, actually. That was meant to be. If you look behind Nick's head, it wasn't a tree, as Virgil said. It was the globe.
He done the globe. Right. Good lad.
Bear in mind, he's only just 7. So.
That's fine. He hasn't quite worked out perspectives yet, because John's head is twice as big as mine. So just a little tip for him next time.
Well, the thing about it was, I went up to see him this weekend. I come back today. And he played a great joke for me, because I took my bag up to my room, and lovely on the windowsill there was a nice picture of a certain Moyes.
Oh, did he really? Oh, he's trolling you. So your grandson's trolling you.
So great fun on that. Oh, what I was going to say was, I remember speaking to when I first come on, spoke about the youth a lot. I went over there on Thursday night. It was a great night, and I saw a team that played. When the people talk about the scouts, I don't think you should read too much in it, because where else should they be? It was a semi-final of the Youth Cup, so they are the best youth players around, so teams should be there. There was probably, all those scouts were probably at Arsenal versus Man City on Tuesday.
Yeah.
For that game. I think the thing with Mbama that worries me is that Moyes, I know we all love to bash Moyes, but one of his sayings were, he was asked a question, why is Mbama not trained with the first team all the time? And he says, I can't have him there all the time because I've already got 3 strikers.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Brilliant.
I think it would be a crime if he doesn't play on Thursday, let alone not start. I think you're right. He's got the size, the ability. Now, sometimes he's out of the field, but what he does know is where the goal is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and when you see his record in youth team football for the under-18s and under-21s this season, played 26, scored 26.
God.
That tells you something, doesn't it?
But do you
Really
know
does.
what? Do you know what,
Yeah.
Dave? As well, I think we've been dying, especially in the forward areas. We've been dying for some youthful enthusiasm. You know, there's something to be said for that as well. Someone who's fearless, and I think we saw that when he came on. Yeah, he'll probably get a few yellow cards, like he did. He was a bit, he got a bit excited when he first came on, didn't he?
Young though, we all used to be.
Yeah,
like that.
no. But it's, what I'm saying to you, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It shows that he's not hiding. Shows that he wants to do well, and I think it can only, and that can only kind of infect, that sort of enthusiasm can only infect the people around him as well. Right? I'll call you back.
I think one of the Sorry, I think one of the things on Thursday night that really impressed was, I think it was when we were 3-1.
Yes.
And Southampton have got a left back. He's one to watch. He's got blistering pace, and he was the one that set up their goal.
Yeah.
But it was one run came through, and Mabama chased him right the way back into our penalty area.
Bloody hell.
And
Blimey.
the only thing about the under-18s is they play as a team. You would rather if you had like one or two really outstanding players. But if you take that performance, all 11 played brilliantly.
Yeah.
But I would say, if I was to say the four, see, I was speaking to someone, what you got to remember is their ages. Someone like Obama is 19, he was 18 in October, whereas someone like Lewis Orford was 17 in February.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at that age group, there's a big difference. But I really hope that, you know, what Noble has said, that he getting involved with them and clearing a path, because he made some very interesting comments in that interview in the Evening Standard, Noble.
Yeah.
He was saying like, oh, if you take Hernandez who went to Chelsea, he cost 100 million. We can't pay that kind of money.
No.
We need to buy them or get them in. And he's like, if we get a youngster who's English and plays in the Premier League, they're worth 30 million. That's got to be good for us. But you know, you've got a manager that I don't know.
So Dave, you follow the youth team sort of quite intently as well. So Andy picked out 3 players that he thought he expects to be in that in and around the first team, providing we've got a coach that doesn't stand in their way, of course. And who was those 3 players, Andy, you mentioned earlier?
Oxford, Scarles, and Mabama. I like Marshall as well, but I think he's not got the physique yet to be in the first team, but that will come in age.
If I was to say, it'd be very interesting to see what they do next season, where they can place some of them on loan. I think someone like Scarles, it would be great if he could go to a championship team or a first division team and be a regular starter for a season and beat him up.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Sorry to interrupt. I think that's what it is.
I think he's a bit complacent at times, because I think it comes too easy for him. He needs to be pushed on.
Yeah, he does.
But what you've got to remember is that most of that team that played the other night are now regulars in the under-21s. That's the idea. You've got to progress.
Yeah.
But if there was one player, Orford, I'm very impressed with. I think he's very good. Earthy is also extremely skillful and talented. But there's one player I like a lot, is Regan Clayton. He's just got something about him. He's got a bit of spike, a bit of pep about him. You know, I'm not saying he's Julian Dix, but one of the things when they played away at Ipswich and he got booked and he was getting gypped from the Ipswich crowd, you know, he was rising to it. And
really?
If you read Noble's book, he said, like, when he got in the first team, he said the big chop with young players is he did things that he didn't know he could do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Until you actually play these players, how do you know what they can do? You know what I mean?
That's right. I've actually heard that. He's mentioned that on a podcast that he's done before as well. And he said exactly that. He said when he got his opportunity and he got his actual first team opportunity, he said I was doing things on the pitch in the senior team that I didn't even know I could do. And that's what I mean. Some players will rise to it. They'll get energized by the crowd. Other players will crumble. They will. It will affect them in a different way.
Yeah, I mean, I get a lot of people say, "Oh, yeah, but they're youngsters. You know, they're too young. It's too physical." Well, Brighton are playing an 18-year-old at the moment as a centre forward.
Yeah.
He don't seem to be. He's taking it in his stride, isn't he?
Also, it's potentially the Youth Cup winning, and well, looking at doing the double, winning the league as well. This is an exceptional group of lads, and as you said, Mark Noble has sung their praises, and Mark Noble was brought in to provide that channel from the under-18s or the under-21s into the first team. Now, what Moyes said, that you said, Moyes said, Nick, about Mabama, and he's already got 3 strikers. That just makes my heart sink. I hate that. I hate that. But surely, you know, wouldn't it be brilliant if a progressive manager like Potter came in and, as part of his contract, he had to, you know, maybe put 3 youth players on the bench or something like that, because you've got like 9 places on the bench now or something, haven't you?
Yeah.
For every game. Clear the path.
Listen, who would you rather bring on? So if you're, I don't know, just say, for instance, not against Arsenal, say against Fulham, rewind to Fulham. It's 1-1, last 10 minutes. We're going for, we would never have done that, but we're going for the game. You've got I don't know, you've got Antonio or
Cornet.
this or Cornet, or you got this kid on the bench. I'm not being funny. I think I would rather. We've seen Cornet now. He's come on once. He lived in an offside position for fucking 10 minutes when he came on the last time. He's been given one opportunity here, where he's gone through on goal and he's fluffed his lines. What is the obsession with these senior players? Why would you not? Why would you not just give someone like that a chance? Because that is like a crowning glory for a manager, isn't it? Like to actually sort of bring a player through, give him an opportunity. That's like a big tick in the box with David Moyes.
I think he would have scored that chance. He would have scored that chance.
It's squad seniority.
He would have scored.
It's squad seniority, I'm telling you.
I think the problem is they also, I mean, you know, sometimes I get sick of talking about Moyes, really. I'd like to be positive for a change and mention Kevin Keane.
Yeah.
I think him and his staff have done an exceptional job to play, you know, because on that team the other night, the guy who played every game at centre half for Lazy, I think, was injured. And Caton is more of a left back, left wing back.
Yeah.
But he played him in centre half alongside Casey. And the pair of them were superb. They all know their roles. They play in there. They have a joy. Every goal was celebrated. They had smiles on their faces. And it's not to take away. I mean, Southampton, I mean, to their credit, they didn't stop attacking till the last minute. Even when it was 6-1 down, they were still trying. And it's playing. I agree with you. You know, people want to go and see a game of football. As much as I enjoyed the 3 points on Saturday, I was watching it on a stream. It was like torture.
I'm the same as you. I'm the same as you. Look, listen. If football was just about the result, I wouldn't watch it. I wouldn't feel as passionately as what I do. You know, that's not what I fell in love with. You know, but sort of going back to going. Yeah, you do. But going back to obviously the style of play in the first team, we know John made the point on our last show where he said it's really odd that our under-18s can be coached in a way which is so disparate to the way the first team play, because usually you've got continuity throughout the ranks. But maybe because Noble is getting involved and obviously Kevin Keane is getting involved, is there a chance that it could be a new philosophy being embedded now? Do we think this under-18s could be the start, and hopefully that will start to build from there?
The other thing, Nick, that he said was very interesting. He said we owe a duty of care to these players. He said we can't be having players that are 22 that are nowhere near the first team.
Absolutely.
You know, we need to make a decision.
Yeah.
Because they can all go on and have careers, whether it be in the Championship or the First Division or Second Division. They can still go and have careers. So we need to be making a decision about these lads when they're 18, 19.
That goes back to the Josh Cullen thing. We've robbed him of quite a few careers of his.
I heard what you said. You know, it's like he wasted 2 or 3 years of his career.
He did.
He's got to move.
Yeah.
You know, and it proves a point. You know, when Ray Houghton left West Ham, he went on to have a great career. Fulham, then he Liverpool. But if he hadn't got that move, and he's such and such. But no, I think full credit to them, and you know that you know the future is only bright if they get their chance, isn't it?
Absolutely. Or if you don't if you don't give them their chance, you know, one of those 36 fucking scouts that are there representing teams from all over the place will give him an opportunity, and he will go, and he will go.
I think the prediction for Thursday, he'll play the 9 that were on the subs bench, plus Paqueta if he's fit, plus plus Bowen because he likes to play Bowen every game, and that'll be your starting 11.
I think you'll be right. I think you're right. Ghent should be a winnable game, right? Ghent are not a strong side playing in a strong league. They're quite a weak side. So I see. I'm just taking it for granted we're going to get past Ghent. But in the semi-final and the final, there's potentially two very strong teams we could come up against, right? AZ Alkmaar are doing really well in the Dutch league. Last time I checked, they were third behind Ajax and Feyenoord. Yeah, and then in the final potentially we could be playing Fiorentina, and I was told by a very reliable Italian source on Saturday that they're flying at the moment.
Yeah, they are. It's going to be interesting. But anyway, Dave, we're gonna wrap this call up, mate, because I've got one more call that I've got to call back, and we're going to do our predictors as well before we go. Cheers. So thank you very much for that call.
All the best, mate. Cheers, bye.
Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. Freshfield has said that from this point onwards, we must say the word philosophy in a Dutch accent. It's in the rules, apparently. So that's fine. From this point on, that's what we'll do. Right, let's get this. Right, we'll make this the last call, everyone. One second. And then we'll get onto the predictions. So, actually, I've got two. So we'll do two quick 10-minute calls. We'll go Tony first if he picks up. Good call that was, Dave.
Hey, mate.
Hello, is that Tony?
Yes, mate.
How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Just wondered if any of you lads had heard anything about Scamacca, because I've heard he's already gone. I've got a couple of my cousins live in Italy, and they've been telling me he's gone at the end of the season, which question is then, if he has gone, we've got Antonio and Ings, if we stay up, who's going to come to us? Or is he just going to stick with those players and maybe bring the youngster in Mabama?
I think that all depends on the next manager that comes in, because if David Moyes is still here, we ain't going to attract another fucking striker.
No. The problem is,
I've told you before, I still think he'll be here. If he keeps us up and wins that Conference League, as much as I can't stand him in that moron. I know that, Nick, and I know you say, I hate him as much. I can't stand the geezer.
Yeah.
But you know what Sullivan's like.
I do, but there are two things I've heard.
Leicester's just appointed Dean Smith.
Yeah, he's coming as a caretaker, man. I don't know. I mean, when you look at Dean Smith's record, it's not bad actually. So it could be like we've just seen with Roy Hodgson. You know, it's all you got to do is come in and motivate these players. You know, a change is all that's needed sometimes in this situation. A change that we haven't got and we're not going to get. So it's clearly not going to happen. But go on, Gav.
There are two things I've heard tonight that make me think that even if he wins the Conference League, and let's face it, the Conference League, it ain't like multiple rounds. It's like a 2-round tournament for us because we've been outclassed. All the teams we've played against, it ain't really been a competition so far, right? But there have been two things that I've heard tonight so far that I think mean that Moyes will not stay. And that is, number one, we have got an outstanding youth team full of talent that can be a big revenue raiser for David Sullivan, right? In terms, or could save us a load of money in the transfer market. So why would you keep on a manager, keep hold of a manager who's just going to block that path to the first team? Bring someone in who's going to open up that path to the first team and give us a load of, you know, if in future saleable assets as far as it's concerned. And secondly, is the other thing about what was it, Nick? What was it, Nick, that you said earlier about? Oh, yeah, it's about the transfer budget. The transfer budget. There's a load of players coming out of contracts again. It's another rebuilding job in the summer. Would you, if you were David Sullivan, trust David Moyes to spend a load more money? I wouldn't.
Not at all. Not at all. But yeah, well, I mean, what are your thoughts on that, Andy? We'll bring you in on that one. Do you think he's going to be here?
No, I don't think he will. I don't think, and I would just hope that we get a manager like Rodgers. I think Rodgers would be a great person, I think he'll have that link-up play between Benrahma and Paqueta and Scamacca done in a month's pre-season. Do you know what I mean? Or even Potter. Like, it really is. And like what you're saying, even if Scamacca does go, there is some talent what we can get. There is some talent, but it's just... I don't know.
No sneaking off, Andy. She saw you going off camera. Look.
I'm getting a beer, man. I'm getting a beer. God. This is your throat goes a bit dry after a while, doesn't it?
It does. It does.
No,
so what about the point on Scamacca? I mean, look, I think for me, from what we've seen of Scamacca's body language just recently and his character, Scamacca is a type of player. I mean, you've only got to look at him, and we've heard the stories about his mafioso family. I think when Scamacca decides he's getting a move, he's getting a move. Yeah. I personally think that he's gone the hell air way, and he's gone, do you know what? Fuck this. I'm going to go. I want to go somewhere, continue my career. I'm 23. I've stalled. This last year has been a waste of my life. I've stalled. I want to go back. I want to go and get on track. I think that is how his mind is going to be working. Maybe if he's here when a new manager is installed and that manager can sort of grab him and talk to him, might have half a chance. But for me personally, I don't know him. But looking at him from the outside in and looking at what's happened before, I personally think he's gone. I think that's him done. I think he's gone.
But I've heard Roma are interested. Do you know what? It'll probably cost us 30-40 million. I'll go, you want Scamacca? Give us Abraham. That's what I'll do.
That would be a good deal. That would be a good deal. Yeah.
I'll take that.
I think I agree with Andy. If we had Brendan Rodgers in now, I think he possibly could get Scamacca to stay, and we'd have a decent striker on our hands. Believe me, he is well thought of in Italy.
He's a good player.
We ain't going to get another manager till the end of the season. And I've heard, like I say, from my cousins out in Italy, he's virtually told Moyes he's a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
You know, that's the, you know, he hasn't held back. He's just said it, and he can't be fucking arsed. And I don't blame him.
What percentage of, if you was to, Andy, because obviously when we won't name names or anything like that, but if you was to have a guess at a percentage of the amount of players in that first team setup that think Moyes is a fucking idiot, what sort of percentage do you reckon that would be?
I'll say 75%.
Yeah, honestly, I know.
99.9.
And the 25%.
That's another question.
Will be Fabianski, Creswell, Ogbonna. I love Oggy, but
all the ones that played yesterday. Yeah, Saturday.
And probably Cornet.
Yeah,
because that's probably it. All the rest are probably thinking.
Yeah,
Ariola is the one I feel sorry for the most. I really do feel sorry for him.
That is so wrong. I mean, there was no reason. Look, Fabianski's a great keeper. He is, right. I'm not knocking him. And you know, if you bring Fabianski back in, he had a nightmare against Newcastle, by the way. Yeah. Every bit as culpable as what Aguero was, but he was never going to get dropped. But Ariola didn't do anything to get dropped. He's equally as good as Fabianski. He's got more to his game than Fabianski. And he's the goalkeeper of the future. Why would you not have brought him in? He gives us more. It gives us more. Why would you have done that? You know, Fabianski, yeah, good. He's a good keeper. Great backup. It's how it should be now. He's getting older. What is he? Is he 37 now?
He's 38 in the end of the month.
Fucking hell. He's gonna dive at one point. His fucking hip's gonna pop out, isn't it? Moyes will have him out there on a fucking Zimmer frame or something on a commode for a penalty.
He'll use his crutch to save. He'll just point his crutch out like that. Extended arm.
But yeah, no. I think what you were saying about Scamacca though, Tony. I think where your family are probably getting that from is the Italian press. I've seen a lot of that. There's been a lot of reports. There's been a lot on the Italian press. He's linked with everyone. Apparently, he's so highly thought of in the Italian league that there isn't a team that he couldn't walk into.
He is being treated over there as well at the moment, and he's got his own knee specialist that he sees.
Yeah. So
I don't think that injury is as bad as people make it out to be. I just think he's had enough.
It wouldn't surprise me. It just wouldn't surprise me if he was, I don't know, feeling his knee. You know, that's what Moyes said last week. He felt his knee.
Unless it was Moyes that felt his knee, and that was the end of it. You know, Moyes felt his knee.
That's what I think. He's felt Scamacca's knee, and he's given the right hander.
His granddad smashing his car up out in the car park.
You can imagine that quick with the old mafioso. Don't you touch my grandson's knee.
I'm not that kind of girl, David Moyes. There's only one of us getting fucked, and it's not me. I turned into Arnold Schwarzenegger there. Don't know what happened there. Yeah. Right. But yes, oh mate. But anyway, Tony, is there anything else? Any other points that you'd like to broach?
No, not really, mate. It's just we're plodding along, aren't we? You know, I just can't wait for the end of this. I do think we'll stop up now after that. After that result, but I just think Sullivan's sort of like sitting there thinking, glad I stuck with him. He's doing all this. I don't think he is. I think the players are doing a little bit themselves. It's still too defensive, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, look. Absolutely. The players are playing for the fans, and they're playing for themselves as well. They are. And to be quite honest, they'd have to be proper shitheads if they didn't. You know, they're professionals at the end of the day. They're always going to want to go out and win. But it was interesting to see Pablo Fornals' Instagram post. I saw it on Twitter. Funny enough, somebody had clipped it and put it on Twitter. But he posted to say the old guard are always ready. Because there is apparently a divide between old and new players. Yeah. And do you know what? That comes down to David Moyes. You know, just in case it is you, David Moyes. No, I'm not gonna. You know, been waiting for this moment a long time. You fucking dry lunch. Right,
When you go to Arsenal next week, the season ticket's not going to work. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
So going back on that with the format, I'd like to see Downs with Rice and Paqueta or Fornals.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, not that too cheap. You know, enough said about him, but you know, you've got midfielders there that I do think if you played Downs and then let Rice have a little bit more freedom with Paqueta or Fornals next to him, you know, I can't see why he can't see it. We've got so many different options here with the midfielders we've got. And Fornals is a good player.
Oh, he's a brilliant.
It's just more I love Fornals, and I hate it when supporters get. He's played out of position.
He's a brilliant player. He's a brilliant player. And what, mate? It is almost like now. I kind of feel now that David Moyes is almost just trolling us now. I think when you hear certain things that he says, like in the Fulham pre-match press conference, when I asked him about Fulham, he went, "I don't really know much about Fulham." He says things like that,
I cannot listen to him pre or post match. I can't listen to the bloke.
No. I can't.
If he could, he'll get Sanchez back.
But Souček. There is no one on this planet that can explain to me why Souček has been in the team.
David Moyes could.
Oh, he couldn't. Even David Moyes could not explain why Thomas Souček is in that team.
Get it, no.
You know,
I don't get it.
I know.
Anyway, lads, I'll say nighty-night and let you get on to someone else. And,
cheers, Tony.
Great show. Best Hammers show about, mate.
Thank you very much, Tony. Thanks very much, mate.
All right, lads.
Tony.
Cheers. Thanks a lot.
See you later. Bye. Right, we'll make this one the last one. This is the last phone call.
What, the very last one?
Yes. Right, 1 minute. Hang on. They might not pick up because it's getting late now.
I've got to get up in a minute.
Hang on. Gary's going to turn into a pumpkin. You don't do late nights, Andy.
I work from home. I set my alarm for 10 to 8.
So do I, but you know, I've got to get down the end of the garden.
Hello, mate.
Hello, mate. You all right? What's your name and where you phoning from?
I'm Don. My name's Don. I've been watching West Ham since 1963.
Hello, Don.
Don.
You all right?
Mate?
Yeah, very good, mate.
Very good. What would you like to talk about today?
Well, I just think that we need to go back to the old Cavalier ways where we played exciting football.
Yes, we do.
Like we played in the 60s and 70s, you know, with a decent manager. And I reckon Potter is the one to get us out of it.
Yeah. I think he could be as well. I mean, in terms of So you think Potter? You think Potter is?
Yeah, definitely.
Look,
definitely the one we should have gone for all along.
But I think all of us, right? I think if we was to get, I don't think there is really many West Ham fans that would complain after what we've been having to, and we have been having to suffer it. I know we've had a 6th place and a 7th place finish, but this last 14 months has drained the life out of most fucking fans. It really has.
Yeah,
I think if we can go out and get any manager that's got that will pick a team to actually play football with the fucking ball and not without it, that's a good start, isn't it? That's a good start.
Oh,
because,
definitely. That's the way we should be playing. We should be playing attacking football. We should be dropping back to the halfway line and then pushing forward as a unit, not bloody well sort of not attacking the team that we're playing against.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I've got David Moyes in the chat, and he's asking for an apology from me now. Should I give him? Give him an apology, Don? Or should I tell him? Should I tell him to fuck off?
Right. Tell them to get lost.
Yeah.
Tell them to get lost at the end of the season.
Yeah. But so Don, what do you? I'll tell you what. We'll ask you this question. Do you think there is a chance? Obviously, you're a long-time Hammer, so you've seen all the trials and tribulations with Sullivan. So I think we can all form an opinion of him. Do you think there is a chance that David Sullivan will feel like, say he's here next season, we win the Europa Conference League, he keeps us up? Same question to you. Do you think there's any chance that he will trust David Moyes to take us into another season? Because is Sullivan that simple where he will think about the stat that was touted out about Everton, where he almost got Everton relegated in 17th place, and then from that point on it all kicked on, that they was really good, because they almost got relegated that year, finished in 17th, and then for the next 2-3 years or whatever it was, they pushed on and they did well. Do you think that Sullivan will be thinking along those lines? Do you think he'll keep him here, or do you think he'll go, do you know what, you've just fucking spunked 200 million of my money, of the club's money, there's no way I'm giving you any more? What do you reckon is going to happen?
He'll be able to do it. I don't think Moyes has got the ability to use new players. The only way
well, he's proved it now.
West Ham will go forward is if they start using the under-18s, like you've been saying all along. Bring them on and get them into the team. Otherwise there's no other way that we'll go forward.
Yeah.
It would be lovely to see some of those under-18s come through, just from a, because it's
right.
what we're known for, right?
Yeah.
It's what we're known for. They do play on this academy of football, and if you're going to be an academy of football, you've got to set it up as an academy of football where there's a route through from the youth team into the first team, and I thought that's what Noble was there for, and hopefully he will fulfil that. Yeah, well, hopefully when the new manager comes in, because I'm looking at it as a when, not an if. When the new manager comes in the summer, Noble will be able to assume that position, because under Moyes' contract is so tight that if he wants to let Noble do something, like join a meeting or whatever, then he can do it. But other than that, Noble has got no right to actually join that meeting.
No,
you see what I mean?
No.
So hopefully with a new man, it will be a different arrangement.
There's a question in the chat from James, and he said, if Moyes was to come out now and say that he's going to be leaving at the end of the season, would that benefit us in regards of us trying to win the conference and stay in the league?
Definitely.
I think it would certainly it would appease me. It would appease me if he came out and said that.
Yeah.
I would
think the boys would all rally
together.
together. All the team would rally together.
Yeah.
And they would definitely win that Conference League, because Old Deck would take them forward.
Is there Andy? Do you think there would be a negative if David Moyes was to come out and say that? If do you think there would be? Could it be? Could he run the risk of maybe having players that now all of a sudden wouldn't play for him? Not that they've been playing for him anyway. That's why he's had to revert to the old.
No,
guard.
I think it would definitely benefit. Not only that, because the players who are there now, they'll be fighting, because the new potential manager will be watching them, and he'll be like, "Oh, I'd like to keep him. I'll get rid of him." And I know the players have to say, "Oh, we're playing for the manager," but some of the players will be like, "Well, let's go out and be known for as well." So I think it could be a motivation, but I think it will only be a motivation if we announce who the new manager is. Like, do you remember when Man City done it with Pep? They went.
Yeah.
Pep, when did they announce him in like April or something?
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I don't know about that because I think that would, if Moyes said this, then and he's got until the end of the season, then you'd want to support Moyes. You wouldn't want to undermine him by having a new manager sitting in the stands watching him.
That's mate. Well,
I don't think Moyes will change it though.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from as well.
Yeah,
Well, not announce it. Well, not announce it, but they'll know of the like the new not in the crowd, but they'll know that a new manager will be potentially watching. That's what I mean. Sorry.
Yeah, Dave. Here's a bloke who's going to be replacing you. If you want to know how to manage a game in game, we'll open a line of communication between the two of you. It will let you know when to make a fucking sub because you're useless, mate. Getting WhatsApps mid-game from Graham Potter saying, Dave, what the fuck are you doing, mate?
They put a spell on him.
That's right.
Yeah, put a spell on him. Yeah. Fucking hell. But
anyway, well done, lads.
Thank you very much, Dom. Thank you very much for the call.
Yeah, cheers, Don.
You're welcome.
Lovely. Cheers, mate. Right.
See you later.
Thank you. Cheers, mate. Right, lines are now closed. Let's do this predictor, Andy. Quick, come on.
Right. So we've done Arsenal, didn't we? We've done a full house for a loss.
Full house of zeros.
Yeah.
Bournemouth away.
I'm going 1-1.
People are going to moan at me in the chat thinking I'm being overly negative. I think they're going to beat us. Bournemouth away. I do think we're going to lose.
Yeah, because we've got Ghent at home on the Thursday as well.
I think we're going to lose against Bournemouth. I do. I think that they are. If we set up like we did against Fulham, for instance, they would beat us. You know, they've got more going forward. I think that they will beat us personally.
I just think that there's more that rides on these games against our peers.
Yeah,
you know, because there's so much at stake for both sides that I think both sides tend to be nervy. That's my thinking.
Yeah, but they've been coming out playing in a more expressive way. So they've not been playing like us. I mean, there's a lot of people that have been saying, you know, the only way you can do it when you're in a relegation fight is to grind out the points. Not many teams have really been doing that. I mean, if you look at, I think like Leicester tried to play football right to the bitter end under Rodgers. Leeds tried to play football. They still go out there. They're still expressive. It didn't work from the other day. Palace, look at them. I don't think there's many teams that are down there that are trying to grind out 1-0 wins.
No,
I think when you're in this sort of fight, surely fortune favours a brave, doesn't it?
Of course it does. Of course it does. And that appointment of what's his name, Leicester, who's it?
Yeah.
That I think is bad for us as well because I was reliant upon Leicester going on quite a bad run.
Yeah.
Because they're on one. They're on one at the moment.
They're on a bad run, but
that's going to bring their bad run to an end.
It will do. And don't forget, up until Roy came in, Palace were dropping like a fucking stone.
Yeah. So what do you think, Andy, about Bournemouth?
Do you know what? I actually think we'll get a scrappy 1-0 win like we did at
Fulham. Well, I hope we do. I really see it.
I think I think we will. Like, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
Liverpool at home. That's a Wednesday night during the week.
I'm going to go for a draw in that one.
I'll go for a loss.
I'm going to go for a draw.
Draw for me.
Yeah.
Crystal Palace away. That's a 12:30 kickoff on a Saturday.
I'm going to go for a draw on that one.
I think we'll lose that one.
I'm going for a loss on that one.
I think we'll lose it. I think they've got too much. If you've been watching them lately, Gal, fuck me.
I don't care. I'm going for a draw. We're going to bore the fucking life out of them. This is Moyes versus Roy.
I'll tell you what though, I hate their chants, but Selhurst Park's always rocking when you go there. Though I do like I hate their chants, but the fans is always a good.
Yeah, but the songs have no words, Andy.
I know, but I like the
it's like rhythmic dancing and you know give me one of their rhythms, Nick. Go on.
That's it.
That's it. Palace.
We're fucking shit. We're shit. But when I went to Palace, I've been there a few times through my previous job. There was a guy that owned a box down there, and I used to go up. I went to a few corporate days down there, and on one of them, we got to go out onto the fucking pitch, and you go out when the teams are lining up. And you get your photo taken. And on my life, it's so intimate down there. And to be a player playing there, because they were all in full voice because I was walking out, obviously. But you walk out, you literally walk out when and honestly, mate, it must be unreal because the noise on that pitch when you got the sound coming from all angles is unbelievable. Mate, it was so loud. It was so loud there. It really was. So it must be, and that must be the difference. If you're playing and it was like Upton Park, it must have felt like that at Upton Park, and now it's different. We're in that fucking cavernous quim that is the that is the London Stadium.
Quim is a much underused word these days.
Man City away.
But Man City away. Well, no, that's gone. That's gone. We ain't winning. We ain't winning that.
Really,
we ain't gonna have that. No.
On the day before the coronation, Manchester United at home, 7 o'clock.
We're gonna lose. We're gonna lose that.
Yeah, we'll lose that.
We're gonna lose that. Yeah.
We played the badge, not the team. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Brentford away.
We're gonna lose that one.
I'm gonna go
2-0.
draw.
I don't think we get. I went to the cup game, and
I'm going to say we're going to win, because at that point Brentford are going to be playing for fuck all, because I don't think they're going to get top 6 or top 7. And I think they're going to drop a few points. I think they're going to be on the beach a little bit by that point.
Hopefully, Ivan Toney's banned by then.
I think we'll beat Brentford on that one. Personally.
In that case, I'll revise it and I'll go for a draw.
Yeah.
And the most important home game of the season to go: Leeds United at home.
3-0 to us. Sorry, 1-0.
I reckon it'll be not pretty, but I reckon we'll win.
Scrappy 1-0 off someone's ass.
Yeah.
And then Leicester away, innit?
Leicester away.
Well,
I've got 0-0 written all over it. We both need a point.
Listen, Andy, before Leeds and Leicester, how many points have we accumulated before Leeds and Leicester?
I think that's about 36 points, isn't it?
So that's about 35, 36 points. So we should almost be safe by that point.
Yeah. And if we beat Leeds, we'll go to 39.
We've got to beat one of them, surely.
It's cyclical, isn't it? It's cyclical because we lose to Arsenal, and if we did go and lose to Bournemouth, then the pressure's on again, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is. It is.
But imagine that game though, Leicester away. If we both needed a point to stay up, I'd be more nervous. That would be fucking horrible.
And the thing is, at that point, right? Listen, at that point, imagine, paint you the scene, right? They've fallen out. We've dropped into the bottom 3, right? Leicester are just above us, but we've got to win. A draw won't do it. We've got to win.
Yeah.
David Moyes gets sacked. On that day, they go, "Fuck you, Dave. You've ballsed up here. We've just been knocked out by AZ Goobery, whoever it is in the Conference League. We ain't winning that either." And then all of a sudden, they announced Di Canio just to come in for one game. Di Canio, Noble, fucking Harry Redknapp, Trevor Brookin, everyone. Just on the fucking everyone, just on the sidelines.
Everyone we like. Johnny Monk, we like.
Everyone. Just on the sidelines, just to fucking like cheerleaders to get in. You know, Julian Dix, everyone, just to fucking get them in there.
Martin Allen.
Yeah, everyone. But honestly, who would you pick though? If that was a scenario and you could pick one character, right? It's got to be an ex-player or because it's got to be a motivator, someone with passion. Do you think there would be anyone better than Di Canio in that scenario?
Not at all. Not at all. I'd bring Di Canio in without a doubt. Heart on his sleeve. I would bring him in.
It'd be amazing, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It's the knee slide, you know, because it wouldn't be because it would be Di Canio's survived relegation, wouldn't it? It'd be fucking celebrating.
Yeah, when he done that at Newcastle, that was hilarious. Wasn't it?
It was brilliant. No, it'd be good. But anyway, no, it was very good. Thank you very much, everyone in the chat for this evening. Thank you very much, Andy. Thank you, Gary, for driving tonight. Very, very, very helpful. I would say thank you thank you everyone in the chat except for this prick, David Moyes. No, not Paul Sullivan. Where's he gone?
Where's Moyes gone?
Him. Moyes. Him. I'll be here for another year, lads. No, you fucking won't. You're going on a scrap heap, son. You ain't getting another Premier League job. You'll be managing Kidderminster next year, you slag. That's where you're going.
Put him in time out. Fuck him.
Yeah, no. But thank you very much. Really, really good. Good interaction in the chat as well. No, we didn't really have. There was no trolls tonight. I was expecting a few trolls. I'm quite relieved because I thought I was going to get all that. So that's why I didn't post it on Twitter
or anything like that.
No, nothing. It was good. It was good. So yeah, thank you very much.
And no C-bombs.
No C-bombs tonight. No. It was good. It was good. Although that was a good call, wasn't it, from Nolly? That was funny. It was funny.
Yeah.
But yes, we'll see you in a week. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in a week with a couple of rambles. Cheers, Andy. Cheers, Gary. Speak to you soon.
Cheers. Come on, you ones.